Welcome back to Truth Hurts, where we expose corrupt politicians and lying corporate media. We're broadcasting live from Roseville, Minnesota, in the belly of the beast. Today's episode is brought to you by Warren Wessel Realty. Give Warren a call if you're buying or selling a home. More about that in just a minute. Joining me, that's good to have you back because we didn't have you on the last episode, which really sucked, by the way, MAGA Jesse. A guy who's showing his favoritism today's Iowa caucus. What are we going to be talking about tonight?
That's right. We got the Iowa caucus. This is actually going to be the coldest caucus in Iowa's history. So it looks like, maybe that's going to tamper down some of the participation, but I think it's going to be exciting to follow these results. Obviously, we already know Trump has won without even seeing any of the results. It's just a matter of, is he going to get 50%? Is he going to get above it? Is Vivek the fake going to stop him? I don't know about that, but it should be pretty interesting. We got some other big stories. The mask mandates appear as if they are returning. Going to go over the Vivek and Trump drama. Some of the things that went on at Trump's rally. Ron DeSantis also got a participation trophy, so big news for him. That's probably the only win he's going to get this entire campaign. And some other big things here to get into, so happy to be here.
Yeah, good to have you back, MAGA Jesse, joining us. Good to have you back too, buddy, Mr. Former Representative Erik Mortensen.
Yeah, I was so excited when I got an invitation to this tonight because I gave you shit about the first Republican debate when I saw you guys were doing this live, and
yeah.
I'm so excited for tonight. I think it's going to be a night of surprises.
We got some big news, so just stand fast on that. We'll get into it a little bit more into the show, but big news story between you and me.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be good.
It's coming up.
Wait to talk about that. Bridget, the lovely Bridget, reading your comments. Let us know where you're watching from. How you doing, Bridget?
I am doing fabulous, and we already have Odd One, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, Brad Ganser, who said he just got back from Dallas. And he said, pretty brutal weather here. The game was pathetic. Now I know what it feels like to be a Bears fan.
Just has to get him in.
What an
Cowboys,
asshole already. He's starting in on me.
Yeah, Cowboys played Packers, didn't they?
Yeah.
Packers smoked them, didn't
Smoked
they?
them.
Yeah.
That's funny. Brad was at that game. I can't believe he was at that game.
Yeah.
But Tucker's here, Jam Teddy, and Dawson.
Good to see all you guys. Yeah, in the live comments, let us know who you're supporting tonight. What are your predictions? We'll read your comments as much as possible. If you want to interrupt us at any time, make sure you hit that Rumble rant, and we will interrupt our show. By the way, I got to talk about this. There's a lot of moving pieces around here. Action for Liberty is now an independent news organization. We split off of Action for Liberty. No hurt feelings, by the way. But we want to grow this show and do great things. So this is broadcasting in Cherry Tree Studios, which I help run with Dawson, Mr. Deep State himself, the technician, the guru behind the scenes. And that's why we have an ad read. So, by the way, Warren Wessel Realty, I'm telling you what. If you're like me, what's so funny?
No, I've never heard you read an ad before. That is funny.
Well, that's the thing is we didn't monetize the show. We had no idea the show was going to work, and all of a sudden we're a year into it. We're like, we got something, and let's make the show grow more, right? Which we have to have. We have to have sponsors to make this thing grow so we can promote this and get the show moving in new directions. And by the way, all you guys at home that watch the show live especially, but even after the fact, that's what makes this thing work. I mean, if no one was watching, what would be the point in doing this? So anyhow, if you're like me, I'm not even going to read this, okay? Here's the deal. I got a realtor. His name is Warren Wessel. Now, I like Warren. I've known Warren for a long time, but it was through politics. He does sing in my church's choir. Okay, so that's good. I think he's a baritone. I don't know. I don't hear him. He doesn't. He sings very well in unison with the rest of the people in the choir, okay?
That's badass.
He is badass. Now, Warren, I knew from politics back in the Tea Party days, so he's aligned with you and me. And if you like me, you want to give business to people like mine. You want to go, Anheuser-Busch? I don't think so. Target? I'll go somewhere else. But if you want someone that thinks like you go with Warren Wessel. And Warren's also been in the business, I think it's like, what did he say, 36 years, something like that? I'm only 41, so he's been in business, since 1988. I was a youngster back in 1988. So Warren's been in business for a long time. Now, it really comes down to I sold a home in 2017? And we had a baby being born in the hospital. Warren, 4 days later, comes to the hospital to deliver the paperwork. He just sold my home. 4 days. and then found us our home. We love it so much. So Warren Wessel, if you're buying a home, you're selling a home, call Warren. I got a number here. You want to call Warren at 651-209-0171, and we got it in the show notes on Rumble. Thank you very much, Warren Wessel Realty. Okay. By that way, that's like an alliteration. Warren Wessel. I guess it's an R, but I almost want to. It almost like rolls together too much. You know.
You did really good.
We got to give him a new name.
You did great.
Did I do good? Okay,
Yeah.
First one. There we go. All right, so we've got to get into this story here. Mass mandates. By the way, we're going to give you live returns as they come in, but the caucus has just started in Iowa. And Bridget, you were asking what the heck, how these caucuses work.
Yeah.
You didn't know?
I kind of know. I mean, I know ours, but I don't know what these are actually about.
I think people need to understand that, like, some states, they don't have any kind of meetings that bring together the political parties. And then other states like Minnesota and Iowa, they actually have an official caucus. Now, the reason the Iowa caucus is it's the first time people in Iowa or anyone in the presidential race, at least on the Republican side, can get together and determine who the candidate is of their choice. So it's a big event tonight in Iowa. It's the first in the nation, and it's the first caucus, and then the first primary is technically New Hampshire. Democrat Party, way different. They used to do Iowa, but now they don't. What is the first one in the Democrats?
Well, I mean, what's on the schedule is New Hampshire, but I mean, not according to the DNC,
they don't
because
care.
the DNC isn't going to count their delegates. So they're telling the Democrats in New Hampshire. So the Democrats are anti-democracy. They're telling them your votes don't matter in this Democratic primary election. It doesn't matter who you vote for. Your vote's not going to count. We're going to disqualify your votes. So, I mean, really, it's going to be South Carolina for the Democrats.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so first chance to weigh in on the presidential election, Iowa's whatever votes in terms of the convention that will happen. I think it's in August, or am I getting that mixed up with the Democrats? Which one's the August one? I think, actually, no, is it Milwaukee in July? Am I already forgetting?
Yeah, I'm not
Republican
sure.
Party?
Yeah, I would think it's sometime in that range around July that the RNC convention would be.
RNC convention 2024. I am like pretty certain it's July 15th to July 18th, and that is in Milwaukee. Okay, my memory serves me correct. All right, so Iowa determines tonight who their delegates for that convention will be, and the polling right now suggests Trump's going to have a good night, and the rest is up to your imagination. Latest polls show Nikki Haley's doing okay, but that's based, and when you really dive into the numbers, I think we did this on the show the other day, Dawson. Did we do this?
I cannot remember. We've done so many shows.
I think we talked about it, but it's like you go into Nikki Haley's numbers, and it's a lot of Democrat and independent supporters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's the coldest caucus, as you say, in the history of Iowa,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, who the hell's going to go pull off that shenanigan? I'm going to go
Right.
caucus for Nikki Haley. I'm a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you imagine them actually doing this?
Right. That's also another big thing, too, because just the social pressure. Do we think that these Democrats are going to be going out with their, when you go to a caucus, it's your neighbors, it's people in your town, it's people in your city. Do we really think that Democrats are going to try to infiltrate the Republican caucus? It's never been successful. There's never been anything, it happens to a small degree anytime, anywhere there's a caucus or a primary. There's going to be some people who change their party registration just to be able to vote in that. And so there's going to be some of that, but probably not very much because, like you said, like the weather, but also just the social circumstances that if people know you're a Democrat and they say, why the heck is so-and-so here? Oh, they're there to support Nikki. That's going to be why they'd be there if they're going to be there at all. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of Democrats that show up to the Iowa caucus or even too many independents. And from what I'm seeing, the people who are most energized to show up to the caucus are the Trump people. And the people who are least energized are the Nikki people. So, who knows where these results are ultimately going to end up, but it's going to be very interesting.
Well, there's this theory out there, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this, MAGA Jesse, that the Trump people might stay home, especially because they see the weather, because they think Trump's got it.
Mm-hmm.
All the polling suggests Trump has got this thing in the bag.
Mm-hmm. Maybe, but like I said, they're also the most enthusiastic. They're also the people who are most excited for the caucus. At least when you look at his supporters, I saw one poll that said 50% of Trump supporters, or a little under that, but whatever it is, 50% of Trump supporters are extremely enthusiastic and excited for the caucus, while it's something like 20% for DeSantis, 9% for Nikki. So it just shows that who's more riled up, who's more excited, the Trump base, the MAGA people.
What's the Napkinator comment? That's good.
Napkinate says, well, there's two. Is this, it's actually not Napkinator though.
Oh.
It's Napkinate. Is this a dry evening stream? Where's the alcohol? And then he goes on to say, Fox already called it for Nikki hours ago.
Yeah, I love that.
Just kidding.
That's great. Yeah, where is the beer? What are we doing here?
I got beer in the fridge if you guys want
All right,
beer.
I'm
not
out of
doing
here. I'm
any
getting beer.
Yeah.
Jeez, you need beer to get through. We stopped drinking after that episode with Tucci. So I don't know what to think of that. Here's the deal. In my opinion, I just can't see Trump not winning tonight. I mean, is that?
Yeah. It's already a done deal. I mean,
But hold on. If he gets under 50, that's a storyline, right?
Yeah, that's what the media is going to run with, and I mean, I think he's going to overperform the polls as per usual. The polls are lying about Trump; they're always underestimating him, and especially with Nikki, they want to inflate her numbers by including these Democrats and independents who are not actually going to go to the caucus in these polls. So that's the only reason that her numbers are up there. But, maybe it's going to be the case that some Trump people say, Trump's got in the bag, I don't need to show up. But that just goes to show that his support is so widespread that would be the reasoning. Well, all of these other candidates, they need to have a good performance tonight. Vivek, if he doesn't have a good performance, he's in trouble. DeSantis, he is dead in the water if he doesn't do good today. Nikki Haley, what kind of case can she sell to New Hampshire if she doesn't come out of this looking good? So all of them, it all hinges on this. It's got a lot of trouble for Trump too if he doesn't perform as well as we want. But I see all of them in a very uncomfortable situation with this.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Haley's actually doing well. You can go to Real Clear Politics and look this up. In fact, it looks like they're going to have the results in Real Clear Politics tonight as well. But Haley's been doing very well in New Hampshire according to the polling recently. I'm just pulling up real quick. It shows right now the Real Clear Politics average has Trump at 43% and Haley at 29%. Christie at 11. Christie's dropped out, by the way, but he's still polling at 11. DeSantis at 6.5 and Ramaswamy at 5. That's the Real Clear Politics.
Mm-hmm.
The latest polls show. Now, this is closer. Okay, so latest polls right now are showing Trump in the mid-40s and Haley in the high, right around 30. But we talked about a CNN poll that showed Trump at 39 and Haley at 32, which was concerning. And then Christie was at 12, and being that he dropped out, one might assume the anti-Trump vote goes all Haley. In Iowa, the Real Clear Politics average has Trump at 53%, Haley at 19, DeSantis at 16, Ramaswamy at 7, and Asa Hutchinson, who I guess apparently still in, at 1.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I want to talk about mass here, but just real quick, because we're still, people are just starting to caucus right now in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
What are your guys' predictions? You made a bold prediction today, Mort. I think you're so
I
off
saw
on this.
someone with a more bold prediction earlier, but
What's your bold prediction? Then you can talk about the wacko bird that had a crazier one.
what's mine?
What's your bold
Yeah.
prediction?
So my bold prediction, I hate to admit this, I pretty much lived on Twitter over the weekend. Like, no joke. I just was consuming content and watching Trump, who hasn't posted on Twitter since August. He's clearly going to live in Truth Social, which I think is a mistake because I think there's been a flock of conservatives that are coming back to Twitter
100%.
since Elon Musk, bought it up, and liberals are abandoning Twitter. Like the Speaker Hortman abandoned Twitter. I don't know if you saw that weeks ago. She just
I
said
still can't
to
get
the
over
old
it.
bye-bye, I'm leaving
Keeps me up
social
at
media.
night, Mort. Keeps me up every night.
Yeah.
Thinking about that.
So I think it's a mistake for Trump to just say screw Twitter and live in his echo chamber and in Truth Social. And I think Vivek is surging. Like the guy did like 300 events. He's all over the place. He's on Jake Paul's podcast, the Krasen Cast or whatever the hell their show is.
Those weirdos.
Yeah, the guy's everywhere. And I think Vivek is in for a very good night. I think he underperforms. And then I'm kind of with the polls when it comes to Haley and DeSantis. So my prediction is Trump 40%, Vivek 25%, You're over there laughing.
No, I'm
I hope
laughing at
this comes
Jesse's
true.
face.
Oh, he's holding the back.
Jesse's
Yeah.
face is great.
Yeah, I just got big eyes at that one. Trump 40, Vivek 25. Okay.
Yep. And then I've got Haley at 20, which I think was about she's polling at,
Yeah.
and DeSantis at 15. And I guess I haven't put any numbers behind the other clowns because they just don't matter.
No, they don't. All right.
Like, why does Trump attack Vivek the other night?
It's interesting.
Like, you don't punch down in politics. Why do you care about a guy at 5%? You just ignore the guy.
It's Trump.
Well, it is Trump. He's unorthodox. But still, why waste a second of your time worrying about a guy at 5% if he's really polling at 5%?
I guess. What are your thoughts? Give us your prediction there.
Yeah,
Jesse.
I got a different analysis there. I think it's going to be Trump at 52%, Ron at 20.5, Nikki at 16, Vivek at 9, Ryan Binkley at 1.5, and then Asa Hutchinson closing it out at 1. So at least the last two, that's what I'm just hoping for, because I don't want to see Asa Hutchinson get any votes. And Ryan Binkley, I got his hat. I might as well just bust this thing out. Believe in Binkley. Because let me tell you something.
I've seen those hats everywhere.
That's his hat.
Ryan
That's
Binkley,
it?
yeah, Binkley 2024, and it's time to believe in Binkley.
I
And
see this.
yeah,
Trump should
and
wear those hats. That'd
but
be
let me
funny.
tell you something. Here in Minnesota, even though in Iowa you can go and caucus for Ryan Binkley if that's who you support, but in Minnesota, David Hand did not allow Ryan Binkley on our Minnesota primary
true.
ballot.
It's very
So
true.
it seems as if Ryan Binkley isn't even going to be featured as a candidate. It's not just the Democrats who want to rig primaries. It seems like the Republicans are willing to just as much. So yeah, I see it as Trump is going to get first. And the whole is Ron or Nikki going to get second place. I don't see Vivek doing it, but if that ends up being the case, that'd be very cool. That'd be interesting. I'd rather him get second than Nikki and Ron, but. I just don't know. I wonder how much of Nikki's support is artificial. I wonder how much is actually legitimate. I wonder how much DeSantis
Artificial in
has
the
lost.
sense that they're Democrats. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, artificial in the sense that they're not actually going to show up to the caucus. And but Ron's been losing a lot of support too. So, but I
But
definitely
you got
think
him in
that,
number 2.
What's that?
You got Ron in number 2. You said.
Yeah, I got Ron
as
as number 2, but I could easily see maybe Nikki's going to take that number 2 spot because as you guys know in the caucus, once somebody gets eliminated, in these different caucuses, obviously Asa Hutchinson, Ryan Binkley, they're going to be the first ones eliminated. They'll say your supporters need to go choose another candidate, and then who's probably the next one in some cases, Vivek, and some maybe rural areas it'll be Nikki who's the next to go. So then they all need to, choose their candidates. So, some of the results are going to be changing throughout the night. But I think by the end of it, I think we'll definitely see Trump above that 50% mark.
I don't think he gets above 50.
Mm-hmm.
Wanna
Oh,
make
yeah?
a wager?
You're believing in Binkley, so.
Yes, believe in Binkley.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to ruin Trump's night. I think.
Yeah.
I think by the end of tomorrow, Ron DeSantis suspends his campaign for presidency.
Yeah.
He looks
You
exhausted.
guys want a beer bet? Is that what you want to wager on?
Yeah, you have to
Beer
get the
bet?
next beer if Trump.
Okay.
I can't wait 2 hours actually.
Yeah.
Napkin 8 says Mark Cuban asked crossover voters to cast Nikki on X.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
he couldn't have ruined himself more.
Yeah,
He's in an interesting battle.
he's just he's been falling in line on everything. The DEI thing. I don't know if you guys saw
Yeah.
him arguing with Elon Musk about that kind of stuff. It seems like he's just a total. a total
Elon
joke.
had one of the best onages of all time on Twitter.
Yeah.
Is when he was talking about how, well, let's put like a Asian person on your basketball team or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
no, that wasn't it. It was
And
something like
a short Asian woman.
yeah, short Asian woman
Yeah.
on your basketball team.
And that's the thing. Mark Cuban has the whitest team in the NBA. Since he has the whitest team in the NBA, it sounds like he's the one who's not even living up to his own word of the DEI religion.
Well,
so
in NBA maybe he is.
yeah, that's true.
Is this
Too
team
bad.
good?
I love Shark Tank. Like I
Yeah.
love watching that show, but
Yeah, but that's not just him, right? It's like
no,
a
it's not.
bunch.
There's 4 other liberals on there.
Yeah. Are they all liberal?
I doubt it.
I thought the lady or someone endorsed Trump.
Mr. Wonderful's a
He's kinda
conservative.
middle of the road.
He's in California, Canada. He is in the conservative party, but I mean, as long as you're not a socialist, you're probably not in the Liberal Party of Canada.
Yeah, Mr. Wonderful was pretty much defending Trump the other day
Yeah.
on his New York clay.
Yeah, he said every real estate developer does that. So,
Do you have a prediction for tonight?
I just lean. I have no idea.
Come
like
on,
strategically.
Bridget.
No, I was going to say I lean towards what you say though. I think Vivek is becoming way more popular. Like even with me, I'm like I love Trump, but Vivek is pretty good.
You think he's going to get second, though?
I think so.
Really?
That's
Oh
with
my
like
God.
zero like statistics or anything. That's just my gut.
Well, that's what
feeling.
Mort doesn't have any statistics either.
I'm just
I'm just like, I
gobbling
think
up
he
the
will.
content, looking at body language, and Nikki and Ron are putting like nothing unscripted on social media, at least on Twitter. It's all scripted stuff, staged, and Trump is just, he's with his people on Truth Social. I don't think he's. I think the conservatives flocking to Twitter are getting exposed to all these other candidates, Vivek being a big one who's all over the place. And I think he's pulling away support from Trump.
Right, and the full Grassley tour, which Vivek he's done that twice, which I guess no
Double
candidate has
Grassley.
ever done that in the history of the Republican or Democratic nominations for the Iowa caucus. So he obviously is putting in the work. There's nobody working harder on the ground than Vivek. You can see it. He's doing the phone calls while he's on his car rides. He's always working. He seems like he's staying up to it, staying busy.
I agree. And maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I think hard work still matters. And I hope he gets rewarded for it.
Right, and the only other people who have done the full Grassley is DeSantis, and DeSantis was lying. I brought that up before because he was saying he was the first one to do the full Grassley, and it was Ryan Binkley who did it first. So DeSantis was lying, trying to make it out to be one thing in Iowa. So no surprise there. But yeah, no, I don't think Vivek's going to get second place. So I mean, it'd be
I think
nice.
That's crazy. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but to me, the ground game is going to be DeSantis. So I think Trump. I could see Trump doing 54. I think he'll break 50 because if he goes below 50, that's a storyline. I think DeSantis breaks 20, so he'll be 20 plus, somewhere in there. And then I think Nikki is in the mid-range, 15-ish, somewhere in there. And it really matters if Vivek can break 10. I'd be shocked if he breaks 10, honestly. Now, we're not on the ground in Iowa, so what do we know? But to me, Vivek has got to bring new people in. I don't know if he's inspired people like the Ron Paul movement did in 2012.
I was virtually on the ground in Iowa on X all weekend.
Yeah,
That's
And I'm
true.
telling you, that's what everybody's comparing
and
him
he
to.
just
is
got
Ron
the Steve King endorsement.
Paul. Yep, you got Steve King, Jeff
Vivek did?
Shipley.
Does that matter much? He kind of resigned in disgrace, didn't he?
I know, but the hardcore paleo conservatives, they love him, and so he still has a lot of sway. I mean, he's burned a lot of bridges in the
Doesn't
Republican
seem
Party.
like the Steve King people would go Vivek.
Maybe they would, though. It seems like they're either Trump or Vivek. I don't know where else those types would vote. Maybe
types?
Ron.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean paleo conservatives. I don't have anything wrong with paleo conservative. I consider myself one.
Candace Owens was campaigning with Vivek over the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, if Vivek does very well, I think a lot of people around here would be very happy about it. Keeps things interesting.
Yeah,
I'd love to see Trump
the
Vivek.
only problem, like we've said it before, it's just we can't tell if he's genuine until someone's in there.
That's the
and
problem.
usually in my gut tells me if I can't tell if someone's genuine, I think that they're not. But that's the thing. I go back and forth with Vivek. Sometimes I think this guy's for real, but sometimes I think because he's changed his mind on some things. January 6th, he was saying one thing in his book, now he's saying something else. But I hope that he's had a genuine move to this idea, to his thinking, and that it's all legitimate. But for some reason, there's just something there I don't trust. I don't know what it is, but I can't put my finger on it. But I don't know. You
Let's go to
just don't know what
Cindy
to
Lou.
Yeah, I was
expect.
gonna say Cindy Lou says my daughter is caucusing in Iowa. She's a newbie.
Tell her to feed us some
Who's she
info. That'd be
supporting?
great. Get some.
Yeah, who's she
info from
supporting?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, who is she supporting, Cindy Lou? I'd be interested.
Well, apparently,
What does
the
Wings
highest
say?
percentage of
Wings, is that
first time.
Tushy?
Who else would
It's
spell
got to be
wings like
Tushy,
that?
yeah. He says, sure, Bridget can read comments without slurring, but can she chug beers two at a time?
Let's find
I
out.
cannot, and I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
All
Yeah.
right, let's Dawson, you really quickly pull up line 12. It's the Truth Social. Donald Trump going after Vivek. Trump attack on Vivek. For those people that didn't see this, a vote for Vivek is a wasted vote. I like Vivek, but he played it too. I can't do it, Trump. Actually, this is this his new attack?
Yeah, and then the
Okay,
first
the
attack
original is down
beneath
there.
it.
He played too cute with us. Caucus tonight. Vote for Donald Trump. Build up the numbers. In November, we must take our... Okay, so down below, he said, Vivek started his campaign as a great supporter. The best president in generations. This is him talking about himself. Unfortunately, now all he does is disguise his support in the form of deceitful campaign tricks. Okay, so Trump goes after Vivek. Then Vivek has a response to this. Will you pull up line 11 there, Dawson, for me? And Vivek responds to Trump. Yes, I saw President Trump's True Social post. It's an unfortunate move by his campaign advisors. I don't think friendly fire is helpful. Donald Trump was the greatest president of the 21st century, and I'm not going to criticize him in the response to this late attack. And then he just goes on to kiss Trump's butt. So there you go. Mm-hmm. Good move by Vivek. What do we got in the video?
Yeah, no, Dawson, it's the Twitter link.
Oh yeah. Don't worry
Napkin
about it.
$10. Gray hats more. First a Hawkeyes hat, now a...
See, that's why I asked you. That hat was not a Hawkeyes hat.
It wasn't.
Yeah, show him that hat. That is not a Hawkeyes hat. Just so the record, let the record show.
What?
Your first hat?
That is not a Hawkeyes hat.
Not a Hawkeyes hat.
I'm a Cyclones guy. I wouldn't let a Hawkeyes hat come on this show. Do you remember that? Did you know about when Michelle Bachmann went to the Iowa football game, the Iowa Hawkeyes for Cyclones game, and she had a jersey that was like split in two, Hawkeyes and Cyclones? God.
Oh, man.
Oh,
trying to have it both
politicians.
ways. Is that what she was doing? She was trying to have it both ways?
Yes.
It was the two people playing each other, right?
Yes, and by the way, you don't like
that's...
either team, so just don't weigh in, right?
Yeah, right.
Has anyone been swayed by a politician because of who they like in football? I'm wondering.
Razzle Dazzles is here. I don't know.
He's carving the rest of the turkey. What turkey? I don't get it. You having turkey night? Dinner at his house.
Well, I guess Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker is an example by if you liked him in football, maybe you voted for him. You know, but that's the only politician I can think of that, you know.
But I meant like that football team, like
right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the big news story here. So, and then we got to talk about some mask mandates. We're still probably at least an hour from getting some results coming in, so we want to give you some background. We'll continue talking and do more predictions of tonight. But so Truth Hurts. We're trying to build this organization, trying to build the show, get it out to new audiences. We're done with that Twitter or that tweet. We don't need that. Or is it X post? Is that what they call it now?
Just call it a tweet. No, it's just Twitter. Nah.
Yeah. Anyhow, big announcement. If you're on the Action for Liberty email, we have a new president in Action for Liberty, Mr. Erik Mortensen, former representative. Congratulations.
Thanks.
I just found out. Fun. What the hell? Did you take my job? What, they canned me now? I didn't even know. What's going on around here?
Well, you're not going anywhere, right?
I don't know. Maybe I'm finally gone. You guys booted me, you know. No, I talked to the board, so I got a couple business projects I'm working on. One of them being, by the way, Truth Hurts. Not like that's a big moneymaker, but we want to make sure we can expand the show. So I asked them, hey, we got to find a good replacement, you know, for this bad president. We got to find a good replacement. And, you know, there's not a whole slew of, you know, principled liberty people out there.
There are not many.
So, yeah, we had to go to the bottom of the, no, I'm kidding. No, anyhow, yeah, you expressed interest. And when you said that, I was like, yes. So we brought you on the leadership team in December, and he's doing a good job already. And today he's the president of Action for Liberty. So welcome on board.
Thank you. I'm super excited. We've got that caucus video. That went out in your email, right?
That went out in the email, yeah.
Hopefully people see that and share that thing, because, I mean, this is going to be a big deal if you want to kind of empower yourself and amplify your political voice. The best way to do it in these coming months is going to caucus, just like Iowa caucus is tonight. Minnesota's is February 27th.
Yeah. Napkin 8 says, great move, congrats, fellas. And Jam Teddy says, congrats to Eric.
Yep.
And Razzadazzle says, Jake, stay sharp.
Oh, well, it's assuming I'm already sharp. So that's a compliment.
Yeah, that's true.
I assumed he was going to say, start being sharp. Mort's like, I don't want to fundraise, though. Oh, okay, of course. No one wants to fundraise, so I'm gonna stay on doing that for the organization. I really, honest to God, I love this organization, and I said this in the email. You know, I got jaded on politics a little over 10 years ago. Ron Paul brought me back in, okay? And this was for a lot of reasons. Biggest two, military-industrial complex with these crazy wars and intervention overseas, and then the banking system, the monetary policy, and quite frankly, the fiscal policy. But it's the monetary policy that bails out the reckless government. And I got super jaded in politics, and the Ron Paul revolution brought me back in. And then the Tea Party movement gave me a good place to harness this energy because, quite frankly, I saw the Tea Party full of patriots. It's just like the MAGA movement, right?
What
Full
about the
of patriots.
Ramaswamy tsunami?
I don't know. I'm still in the Jesse category. He says the right things, and I can see.
That's what
'cause he
everyone
knows
said
we're
about
out there.
Neil. That's what I think. Everyone thinks he's
I
like
know,
way
I
too smart.
actually
But
asked
he
Neil
literally
about him.
reminds me so much of Neil.
Yes.
And everyone was like, Neil's so fake. He's so scripted. I'm like, no, he's not. He's a smart
Yeah,
guy.
he's just brilliant.
People have no
Yeah.
idea how unscripted Neil
Yeah,
show
like
was.
totally unscripted. And Candace Owens, I just watched her show today, and she actually showed a clip of him back when he was in high school. He was the valedictorian.
Yep, saw that.
And he sounds the exact same, like brilliant then and now.
Yeah,
So I'm
but
like,
did you see the time where he was? What was he on?
Alley Cat 62 says Vivek is a con artist.
What was
mean,
that show he was on that we saw him? Like say he was a Democrat. What was that? Remember that?
Oh, he was on Al Sharpton back in 2004. Is that what we were talking
Al
about?
Sharpton
Or Jimmy
show.
Dore. He was on Jimmy Dore's show pretty
It was
recently.
like maybe it was an MSNBC town hall with Al Sharpton. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Is that it?
Yeah, but you're saying when Vivek was young.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Back in 2004 that him and Pete Buttigieg were there, that they both were asking questions
Yeah.
for Al Sharpton's 2004 presidential run. So, but also, that could just be one of those things that he's a political nerd that, was going to that kind of stuff in college.
Fair.
Because if I was in that situation, I would have been at the Al Sharpton town hall to see what was going to go on there. So I would have been asking a question. So I can't blame someone for going to an event.
I almost caucused for Barack Obama in 2008.
Almost.
I had no idea what to think of politics. You just see the guy and you're like, oh, he seems cool.
The current
Well,
president
in
of
2008
You
Action
say
for
this
Liberty.
the day we announced he was president of Action for Liberty. You're like,
Oh,
wow.
that's-
I'm being honest.
No,
Then
but that's the thing. In 2007, 2008, Obama was a different guy than he was as soon as he got into office. Because as soon as he got into office, it was a super establishment cabinet. But what was he saying back then? I'm going to close Guantanamo Bay. He was saying a bunch of anti-establishment things. He was saying, we got to cut the lobbyist special interests out. There was so much good stuff that Obama was saying back then, but then he instantly got corrupted after his
corrupted. I'd say he's who he was.
Thanks for bailing me out, Jesse.
yeah.
No, so you really weren't involved at all in politics in 2008?
No, it was like early 2008. I remember going to a buddy's house, and his girlfriend was like, "You should come caucus for Barack Obama." I was like, I don't know, maybe. And then I started listening to Jason Lewis, probably within a week, and I was like,
That's
no
straight.
way on earth am I going to caucus for Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, and you're
Well,
just,
Obama saved us from Hillary. If that's the
true.
only good thing he ever did.
Yeah.
But even though he put her as Secretary of State, but
Yeah.
if we had a President Hillary, oh my God, our country would already be over.
Yeah, it's true. John McCain probably would have lost to her, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was political back in high school. Now, the first event I ever went to, political event, was Bill Clinton speaking in downtown La Crosse during the Monica Lewinsky scandal. Remember getting on a bus and going down to La Crosse. I was in high school, right? And but I did that out of interest. I've never been a Democrat ever. I guess I would say I'm a Republican, but I hate to sometimes identify that way too because I don't know what the party even stands for these days. But I definitely have never been a Democrat, never voted for a Democrat. But I was set straight, a little bit in advance to you because I was listening to Rush Limbaugh in high school. So, and Barry Farber. Boy, that goes way back. I don't know what happened. That guy must be gone by now.
Can you believe it's been 3 years since Rush passed away?
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
He was the GOAT. So, anyhow, Mort, you got a long record of going against these political elites. So it's going to be a lot of work for you in 2024. You ready for this?
I can't wait. I love coming after these guys because I was talking to a candidate earlier tonight, and he was asking for advice, and I gave him some of my best advice of these people are all full of shit. They claim it's a team sport. It's not. They're all in it for themselves. Don't trust anybody. And just kind of walked them through. Here's how they tried to turn you, and it's not like, well, people would think, where they think they assault you in some form or fashion. They try to befriend you and, earn your trust. And as soon as you're friends with politicians, you're done. You're just done.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they say, well, hey, here's how we have to vote and here's why, are you going to betray your new friend in the Capitol? Or are you going to stick to your or are you going to, fall in line? And that's what I was disgusted by the Capitol. And having been the only no vote on
A lot of things.
a lot of bills, it got so bad. And I love kind of telling the story. I used to look at the voting board to see how everybody was voting. And after so low no votes, I would just hit that little red button and I would just pick up my phone and start looking at something. Because I didn't even want to see it, because there's legit pressure when you look up and every other light's green except yours. And then you got your neighbors, your Republican colleagues, trying to encourage you to vote for this bill that increases taxes, or it's an omnibus bill, or grows government in some form or fashion. And it's tough, because they don't want that contrast, right? They want this big homogenous blob in the Capitol where they're all the same. And as soon as you create that contrast by being that one no vote, they want to snuff you out.
Until the parties approve the contrast, right? Because there's times where the party's like, we're going to get... This is the thing that gets me about Trump. The Democrats could have played this hand way differently. Trump was not a big conservative. You got to understand that. So they could have played the hand way differently when he got into office. They could have been like, hey, let's have some reasonable reforms, blah, blah, blah. You see it this way, we see it that way. And instead, they decided to go the route of making him the boogeyman and resist him with everything they got, which only, emboldened his faction. Now, I think in the end, it worked out for them in many regards because, hey, they removed him from office illegally, right, Jesse? And they won some elections just making him the bad guy. But they could have actually still got things done with Trump because he wasn't like this guy that came from, I don't want to say the far right, but like from like a principled liberty position or constitutionalist position. Is that a fair criticism, Jesse? Or are you losing your mind hearing me say that?
Say it again.
Say all that over.
I got distracted by something.
Alley
He was
Cat,
just thinking Trump the whole time. That's it.
we have people in the comments. Alley Cat says they called Trump as winner of Iowa Caucus. That was fast. And then Napkin A says, great news. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, Trump 70.
We're supposed to have the news show. What are you guys doing? You're not.
know.
We're the news show.
Is it for real? They
We
already
can't-
called it?
Well,
I don't
we
know.
can't
That's
just
why I
take.
said that. I don't know if it's
What do we
for
got
real.
here? We're doing the Wall Street Journal tonight for the thing. I mean, of course they predicted Trump won.
Yeah,
right now
that's
he's got
a safe bet.
70%, but that's I mean, that's all the reporting that's done, right? So,
Doesn't say what percent is in.
Well, it says 69.92%. So
No, I'm saying
This thing
the,
says-
the percentage that's in.
Percent.
This thing
Reported.
says less than 1%.
Oh, less than 1%.
Sure.
Yeah, good point.
Oh.
This means absolutely nothing, and we're not versed enough. I mean, it's actually, if you look at the reporting areas, you got Des Moines, and then you got all different sides of the state. Looks like Ron DeSanctimonious did take the one of the eastern counties so far, but once again, 1%. This means nothing at this point. I doubt Trump will get 70%. Don't even look into this and say, oh, Ron DeSantis is, at 15%. I don't think you can look into this. That's just how elections go. However, it would be a different story if Trump was not winning right now. We would probably be like, wait, what's going on? So anyhow, they only call it because, quite frankly, I think everyone in this universe, but no one here predicted Trump's not going to win tonight, right?
Yeah.
You just predict he's under 50. Jess and I
Yep.
say he's above 50. So we'll keep an eye on this as it comes in. But yeah, I don't think we're getting results until at least 8 o'clock that will tell a story. Of course, they're going to predict Trump wins. Everyone wants to be the first.
Yeah.
Oh, this is breaking story on Wall Street Journal. Donald Trump easily won the Iowa caucuses. But see, that's once again just using some exit polling data and stuff like that. Once again, we don't have the solid numbers. So just FYI. Let's talk about mask mandates here in Minnesota, because if we start getting results rolling in, I don't want to miss this story. Pull up actionforliberty.com. This is a story we wrote over the weekend. Fauci actually admitted social distancing wasn't based on science. If you scroll down here, this is a crazy story, by the way. So he had some private testimony. Is that the term they use? Private testimony or testimony behind the
Closed door.
Yeah, closed door testimony with Congress. And according to the Wall Street Journal, Fauci stated that the social distancing rule sort of just appeared without solid scientific basis, which, by the way, we all knew. But
Okay.
now he's admitting to it.
I thought we were following the science. Now we weren't following the science?
You just
Cannot
think the
believe
guy
that.
should be thrown in jail for the things he lied about, right?
I found
Which
a
is-
typo.
What's that?
I found a typo.
Don't say that. You know,
See if you guys can find it. It's a fun little word search.
Well, okay. So I had a typo. Whatever. I don't get every one of my articles edited. Sorry. Look at this. Do you remember this event? And there's many events like this, but this is like an event Joe Biden speaking at.
That is insane.
I know. It
Incredibly
is
stupid.
absolutely ridiculous. And I bet those people sitting there just think this is normal. Like, I'm
That's
being
so
safe.
crazy.
They're
know.
insane.
And remember, as Michael Osterholm, the lead epidemiologist at the University of Minnesota, who said cloth masks do not work, right?
Yeah.
They do not work. So, not only is social distancing, anti-science, or cloth masks, but we were reporting initially on Saturday, we were hearing some medical facilities going to masking. Go back to actionforliberty.com there for me, Dawson. And then we just published this article today. Scroll down. This is the mask mandate brought back to Children's Minnesota Hospital. And they're masking, they got a new guideline. Okay, this was just released as of January 5th. And it's going to take effect tomorrow, which is January 16th. It says masks are strongly recommended when inside a Children's Minnesota facility for parents, legal guardians, visitors, employees, volunteers, students, staff, and contractors. By the way, I don't believe for a second it's not going to be mandated for staff. Patients older than 2 years old, masking is strongly recommended when outside the patient's room. And then masks need to be worn, so this is the mandate, in situations such as, ready for this? Masks are required for all patient care interactions, meaning the parent, legal guardian, and the patient are required to wear a mask when meeting with a provider, and the provider will also be masked. Like basically, unless you're going to the cafeteria or you're maybe in the waiting room, which I still bet they're going to force it, you got to wear a mask at Children's Museum. Children's
Cindy
Minnesota.
Lou says Alina is requiring their employees to mask starting tomorrow too.
Okay, and see, that's what I didn't have
That
their policy,
sucks.
but we're hearing that many different facilities. So once again, do masks work or do they not work? They do not work. We know they don't work. What the hell is the point in a masking guideline? It's a lie. All these things are lies, and they're just instituting it again. And honestly, if I look at this, I go, hey, there's a good chance they're going to do this again in public places, certainly government buildings.
Yep. I was at the doctor's office last week, 2 weeks ago, and checked in at, patient registration, and she's like, oh, well, here's a mask for you to wear. And I took it and put it in my pocket, and she told me where to go in this big old hospital. And so she's go down here and go down the hallway. I'm like, okay, sounds good. And I'm walking out, and she's like, and bring your mask. And I pull it out of my pocket and say, yeah, I got it. It's right here. Chuck it back in. Like, I'm not wearing this thing.
So she's just like bought into it, but she knows she doesn't have any authority in this case, you think?
That's exactly what I thought. Like, were you going to get up behind that desk and tackle me or something? Like,
Right.
I'm not wearing this.
Sir, I strongly recommend you wear that mask. Sir, I really, really
you know
recommend.
what's best for you. Because I know what's best for you. That's what they seem to think.
I love the haters of Mort. They got this one photo of Mort wearing a mask. And they're like, he was really a champion against masks. And it's this fake mask. Well, actually, you know what's funny? I always called that mask, your screen door mask,
Yeah.
fake. It's just mesh. It's funny.
Yeah,
it
I
looks
bought
like
it
it's a
from
mask.
Fake
It's
Mask
mesh.
USA.
But it literally is just as effective as any other cloth mask.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the fake mask. Well, so are the other ones. But it's kind of funny. And so people don't realize it's mesh, which is actually kind of a funny thing. Now, some people on our side went a different route, and they wore masks with like logos, or my governor's an idiot. But to
Yeah.
me, I thought that defeated the purpose.
Yeah,
Like,
I
thought
wore
you had
that
to
thing 'cause it
resist.
was my daughter's dance recital. And I had not worn one to any of her other recitals, but she was like begging me not to embarrass her. Just put this mask on and don't be the one person out wearing it. So I was like, fine. So I acquiesced to my daughter, who was 13 at the time. So that's why I wore that thing, which, whatever. Yeah. Kurt Doubt was saying using that picture. Jeremy Munson was using that picture. That guy's such a slime ball. He is, man. He just. So
Erik Mortensen in the Raw.
Yeah, well, that's what this will do.
You know what you could drink that through? The mesh mask.
Yes, I absolutely could.
The one non-medical time I ended up having to don a mask is because of you. And you had your
Oh.
mesh mask. You
Yeah.
asshole. I was so...
I can't believe you're speaking about this publicly.
No,
'cause
no. It was...
When I took that picture of you,
That,
you were
that,
pissed.
that was... Yeah, I was. That was literally... And you had a good laugh over that, but you...
Still got it.
That was a checkmate. That was a checkmate by far. No, the one time I wore a mask, like, because, I was so against it, but it was at the hospital when my kid was born. My third kid,
Yeah.
Camden. And this is August of 2020. The mask mandate just came in. And so I'm going to go see my damn kid being born, right? And we get into the room, and the nurse comes in. She's like, hey, listen, you don't really need to wear these things in here. I'm like, got it.
When I had my hip replaced in October of 21, you had to get there at like 5 a.m. and didn't wear a mask. Got back to the surgical waiting room, didn't wear a mask. They brought me back to the pre-op area. No mask. I didn't wear a mask the whole time. When here I'm getting surgery, I don't know how the heck I skirted not wearing a mask when I'm actually getting surgery. But yeah,
I've made it 2/3 of the way down to Florida without, I was one of those guys that had those neck gaiters, and I made it through airport security and all that stuff without wearing a mask. I felt so proud.
You guys are missing out, I think.
JM today says Daily
on wearing
Mail.
masks.
Yeah. I think there's one good use to wear a mask, and it's when you're antisocial like me, and you would literally just prefer to have your face covered up that says, don't talk to me.
Well, I'm an
it's great.
extrovert, so, and I like to smile a lot, which is
I
one of the
hate it.
reasons I thought people didn't really mind when I'd go to places all the time not wearing a mask. I was always that guy, that one dude in the store that wasn't wearing a mask, right? And I just felt like it was because they're like, hey, that guy's smiling, and they like it. I assumed, maybe not, but that's at least what I thought in my head. Still only 1% expected.
Yeah, I think it's
voters.
abnormal
Okay.
to cover half your face, even if you're shy and antisocial. I mean, just stay at your house if that's what you got to do then, because the rest of us are trying to live normal lives.
Well, and that's the thing is I think if this stuff comes back, and they really do get you in the medical facilities, that's a checkmate in my opinion.
Yep.
But the nice thing is stores, you don't have to do it. Even public, well, I guess if you go to court, they kind of get you on that. But a lot of places where you don't actually have to be, I say stand up and resist. I remember when we were teaching caucuses. So go see Mort's video on YouTube, directed and produced by Dawson and Jake Studios.
Yeah.
Cherry Tree Studios. I guess we have a name for their studio. don't we?
Yeah,
Cherry Tree Studios.
Dawson
Sorry,
and
that
Jake
sounded dumb. Dawson and Jake Studio. Dale's gonna be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, I thought you were the guy selling the thing, and that's what you call it?
Oh my God! Yeah. What if I? All right. I'm fired. So anyhow, the video is about going to caucus, and we did the same push in 2022. So going to Minnesota caucus on Tuesday, February 27th. All right. And this is the best way for you to get your political power in the state. Literally, all the politicians, they care what goes on in that caucus. And so you can go to this caucus. And in 2022, we were teaching a ton of people, training them here at the headquarters and other places. And people were asking, what happens if we go to these conventions, there's a mask mandate? And I would just say, well, don't wear one, right? Just don't do it. Because what are they going to do? They're not going to throw everyone out.
Exactly.
The problem is too many people comply, and they just pick apart the ones and twosies and get rid of those people. But if we all don't comply, and now, by the way, take what I'm saying and let's do this with income taxes, okay? Join with me. You guys go first, by the way. That's the problem. I would love for that mass revolt against taxes, but damn it. People aren't going to be with us. But on the mask, that one's a very low barrier. Because what are they going to do? Throw you out of a freaking place? No one ever got prosecuted that I'm aware of for not complying with mask mandates. What's so funny, Dawson?
I'm thinking of a meme that I saw that was two guys fighting against each other, and one guy's like, tax evasion is breaking the law, and the other guy was like, it's an obligation. And sorry.
Okay.
You asked.
You did ask. That is fair.
That was my. So it's
You
my
know
fault.
you know that I don't bring the content here.
Yeah, that's why our show was so bad last episode. I didn't have anyone here. Just like I can't do it. Mort couldn't do it. Bridget does Tuesdays
That's
only.
not a compliment to yourself, though, Jake.
It was not a compliment to
so
myself. I'm that bad. I
We're working on it.
let's just be honest. I host the show. I bring the talent over here. Let's go to the comment section. That's the
Oh,
real
gosh,
talent.
okay.
The comment section.
Let's see. Tucker says I made fun of my family for wearing masks. Odd One says I wouldn't wear it either. Brad Gander says a lot of family and peer pressure to wear a mask, and he also said it's always entertaining going to Target as an unmasked family of 7.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I never thought of that. If you just go as a family, that's good.
Hey, Brad was nice to you. He also said the last show was good. So
I can't remember the last show. I think I
Wasn't it
blocked
Just
it
a
out.
compliment from a rare compliment from Brad Ganser. Unbelievable.
yeah.
By the way, let's go back to Wall Street Journal reporting in 2% once again. Means not much, but Donald Trump's hovering right at that 55-point mark. Bird Brain Nikki Haley at 19.79. Ron DeSanctimonious at 17%. Vivek under 8%. Now that's following very much the
both those
polling.
it's all Trump counties except for 2 DeSantis. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
Looks like it.
Oh, no, Nikki Haley. They're dark orange.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know why they would use a similar color between
Yeah.
those two.
They could do green.
Oh, they just popped up another county.
Does it go that slow?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get. I mean, first of
A
all,
lot of them will come in at once, though.
Oh,
You
okay.
know.
It picks
Yeah,
up speed.
you're gonna see it. I mean, this is really early. I'm quite shocked that it's going this quickly. We were talking before the show. The Democrats bundled up. Actually, one year they didn't have the results. Oh wait, that was the last go round. They didn't have
Yeah.
the results of the Iowa caucus. Oh, I forgot all about this. This was the hit job on Bernie Sanders. Don't you remember this? In
Yeah,
2020,
it was the Buttigieg
yes.
donor who was creating this app, and then all of a sudden Pete Buttigieg declares victory of Iowa, but the votes haven't been counted yet. So
Yes.
Yeah, I remember all
so
about it.
Pete Buttigieg got the boost out of the 2020 Iowa caucuses. Biden, who was just underwhelming everybody until Super Tuesday, and they all coalesced behind him, was like, they were in damage control at that point. And poor Bernie Sanders won the Iowa caucus, but he didn't get the credit until 3 days later when no one cared, and Pete Buttigieg got all the credit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a big hit job
And
on
even
Bernie
then,
Sanders.
Even then, the media didn't really give Bernie credit. They
No,
were
of
still,
course
They
not.
were still saying, I guess the majority of delegates are still going to Pete. So they didn't want to give that one over to him. And I think Bernie did win New Hampshire following that one. But, with Klobuchar right in there, Biden in 5th place, so... and it just goes to show how crazy the electoral system can be. But I mean, we all know that the only reason Biden won that primary was because Buttigieg and Klobuchar dropped out and endorsed him right before Super Tuesday. And in this Republican primary, it's so interesting what's gone on because at the beginning we had 14, 15 candidates, and then so many of them had dropped out before even a single vote was cast. And Chris Christie, for example, Chris Christie, do you guys remember he was out there saying, I am going to confront Trump in person. I'm going to one of his events. I'm going to meet him face to face. If he won't show up to the debates, I'll meet him. He backed out of that, didn't he? He wussied out. He was saying, he was all in the media, I'm going to confront Trump in person. He never did it.
I don't even
he
remember
dropped
this.
out. Oh, yeah. I mean,
hilarious.
yeah, no, I mean, maybe Dawson could Google it. If you just look up Chris Christie confronting Donald Trump, he was saying it all over the place that that's what he was going to do. And, I mean, how embarrassing is that? That was his big thing. He was telling all the media, just wait until it happens.
You know what? I think what's more embarrassing is most of us don't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to go get Trump. No one knows. No one even paid attention to you, Chris Christie.
Yeah. But, I mean, it would have been interesting if Chris Christie had the balls to actually show up to a Trump event and do that. But he dropped out before that any of that ended up happening. And it just also shows how corrupt the RNC is because they forced all these people out of the election. I mean, we had Mike Pence, we had all these different people who were lined up, Tim Scott, and before a single vote was even cast, they got all these people to get out of the way because who do they want? Nikki. The establishment wants Nikki.
Yeah.
So they were saying, get out of the way, get out of the way. Even Chris Christie, they were giving the elbow to, saying, okay, we've had enough of you.
I can't see myself voting for Nikki Haley, honestly.
I can't either.
And, and that comes from a guy like me who actually voted for Scott Jensen, who was a big rhino, right? I mean, knowing Scott Jensen on a personal level, Scott's a very nice gentleman, but, I like to think of myself as a guy that's got principles, and here's a guy that really didn't deserve my vote, and I really despised Tim Walz enough to coalesce behind the Jensen vote. But, when it comes to federal politics, I guess to me, sometimes I view the Republicans as bad as the Democrats. I'd still this day argue not voting for John McCain, I abstained in that election, at least in the presidential election, was a smart move because these warmongers might cause just as much damage as the Democrats. You know, in many regards, Biden has what's the word I'm looking for? Moderated a little bit on Israel because of the far left on his side was basically up in arms about what he's doing. You know, I look at Bird Brain and I go, she might just start World War III alone.
Yeah.
Right?
Cindy Lou says my daughter's caucus room went 1 Trump, 2 Haley.
Cindy Lou, where's she at? What city is she near? I'm wondering if it's been reported. We're still only looking at 2% coming in, but once again, you know, caucuses start at 7 o'clock, so that's not unusual. Trump is, I mean, it's basically following the polling numbers. Which, once again, 2%, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It'll be really fun to watch if the polling is inaccurate in terms of some of the secondary candidates. By the way, none of the other candidates breaks 20, I mean, that's pretty bad for them.
Yeah, and especially because Ron has spent all of his money here. This has been his whole thing. I mean, he's in 5th place in New Hampshire.
Right.
Well, I guess 4th place now that Chris Christie's out of the way. But, I mean, he was in last place for New Hampshire. I bet Ryan Binkley, Asa Hutchinson were going to get more votes than Ron DeSantis in New Hampshire. So he needs to win Iowa. He needs to have a 2nd place performance. He needs to do really well because he spent, millions of dollars just on Iowa. He's got the governor's endorsement, and nobody cares. And I think this is a big night for Ron, and I think so many things have been going poorly for him that he's kind of now stuck in the position where he doesn't even know how to correct it. He's too awkward. He's too much of a stiff. He's too much of a puppet to be able to try to be a genuine, regular person. And, just all you got to do is look at that fake smile he does over and over and over again, and it shows you that he's not presidential material.
Who do you think Trump is picking for VP? Because I think he said he's already picked it, right?
That's what he said on the Fox town hall. I don't know exactly who it's going to be, whether it's Carrie Lake or I could see it being Carrie Lake. I could see it being there's a couple of women in Congress that I
no
could
one
see.
on this stage?
No.
And you think you're convinced it's a woman?
I'm not 100% convinced. I've been trying to figure it out myself. I mean, Trump keeps his cards close to the chest because we're all sitting here guessing who's it going to be, and he's already decided.
I never thought of this, but is his pick very important because they might get rid of Trump's ability to run for president?
Yeah, I mean that could be very important too, and I don't know who it's going to be though. I mean, I would like to see it be RFK Jr. I think that's the best case scenario for the country. I think
you think RFK Jr. would do it?
I think he'd consider it. It'd be a tough sell, but I mean, if I was Trump, that would be my first call. I'd say, let's get this independent.
That's a real bold move.
Bring him
bold
in.
strategy, Cotton.
Yeah, no, that's what I would do.
I actually like that idea a lot. Because my problem with Bobby Kennedy is that I'm not so certain that I believe and trust that he's good on all the issues. He's obviously really good on COVID tyranny, right?
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of us even give him time of day. And I think he'd be good at finally releasing the JFK files. There's a guy that's got a lot of vested interest in finding out who murdered JFK and his dad as well. But if he's the vice president, you get to find out who he is for 4 years without the damage, right?
Yeah, but Trump could also he might even pick someone non-political. Someone who's never been elected to anything, never been in the administration or anything like that. I don't know, Mike Ditka. Mike Ditka.
Oh, Ditka.
Really? I don't know.
He was on board with that one.
he was just the first name that came to
Coach
mind.
Ditka.
Yeah, this will turn into Saturday Night Live real quick.
Yeah, right.
When I was in ROTC, I believe this happened. Was it summer camp ROTC? It was at some. I remember I was at some thing in the summer for the military, and it was like college era. And Ditka was really heavily considered running for U.S. Senate in Illinois. In fact, this would have been Barack Obama when he ran the first time.
Yeah.
And I remember learning about that, and I think I put something on my wall locker that was Ditka for Senate or something like that.
Nice.
I would have loved it.
That's the thing. Trump could end up picking someone like him, or just some other celebrity who's like
Dicka's
just,
so old,
just
though.
well liked. Just someone who's very well liked, someone who's well appreciated, someone who's popular. Not Oprah, but someone of that kind of caliber.
Does he
Dr.
pick
Phil?
Dicka's
Dr. Phil would be a
84.
great choice.
Does he pick someone with an actual personality this time?
Yeah,
Dr. Phil would have a personality.
yeah.
Let
Oh,
us
yeah.
know. Oh, Tucker,
People,
Rodeo
yeah.
55, Tucker Carlson. I like that.
Kanye.
Yeah, that's not happening. Yeah, Alley Cat, I agree with her. That's why I'm skeptical of RFK.
Oh, napkin 8.
'Cause he wants
Don
to take
Jr.
on.
Imagine
Mike,
if he picked Don Jr.
Yeah, Don Jr.
Oh,
yeah,
you're
and Mark Robinson or Robertson, whoever it is. I see Alleycat62 saying that. Yeah, the lieutenant governor from North Carolina. He's that black guy. You guys might remember he was the one who went in front of that school board years ago and was just putting them in their place. And then the people rose up and they said, that's our guy. Just this random citizen. So they made him the lieutenant governor. He's going to become the governor of North Carolina pretty soon here too. So he'd be an awesome choice for VP. I don't know if he'd be interested in. North Carolina is becoming more of a swing state. So
I know, it's
Robinson
crazy.
would be, and especially a black voice who that could be could be a great choice.
That's awesome. Man, God, I can't stop thinking about Mike Ditka. But what if you go the route? Because there's a lot of those old school NFL guys that. Well, Brian Urlacher is a big Trump supporter.
Is he okay?
Oh, these Bears fans.
Yeah, so-
we're having some dreams here.
So is Brett Favre, But I mean,
Well,
Brett Favre has gotten himself into like financial
Yes,
troubles.
yeah,
That's
that's a
He's got
crazy
some
story.
yeah. He's not the number one choice.
What's the new-
Don
is
King? He's
Don
not football,
King?
but
I don't
the
know.
boxing promoter.
Yeah, I don't know
yeah.
about
I
that
mean,
one.
he's also got some skeletons in his closet
Yeah.
too. But he'd be a fun VP.
Right.
Have we talked about the award that Ron DeSantis won the other
No.
Not yet, no.
Yeah, well, you guys were telling me about this. Tell me more.
Yeah, I mean, we got the video on here. I
Yeah,
think it's
play this
line 13 there, Dawson. DeSantis got his own participation trophy. I mean, what a beautiful thing for him to receive in Iowa, and just the confidence that this guy has presenting it. I mean, I think we should just watch it and then
Oh, well,
react
so
to it.
set up the stage here. What's going on? This guy is like going into an event.
That's the thing. This guy's going to set the stage for himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
there's some event going
We
on.
don't need
and
context here.
I
Not
don't
really.
think so. Have you seen this, Bridget? Oh, this is great.
All right. Let's see this. Oh, is that Chip Roy?
Yeah.
Turn the volume up on our thing.
Well, I guess they closed the restaurant, right? Sorry about that. So.
Well, no, 30 below, and here we go. I'll tell you what, nothing's going to stop us.
Real quick, before we get started, thank you, everyone. Governor DeSantis, I want to present to you this participation trophy. Now, probably not going to win the election, right? But we're proud of you for trying. There you go.
Sorry,
No, but, I mean,
Sorry, buddy.
he's
Sorry.
special, he's
Go ahead.
unique, and he's our little snowflake. Here you go. Do you want the award? We're so proud
Back
to
to
give it to
the
you.
30 below, and here we go. Here we go.
Good.
He was not from Atlanta.
Oh, I think no. Well, it's better than the other guys who were coming about the oil stuff. They're charging the stage and complaining about fossil fuels in the middle of a blizzard. So
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yep, that's
That's
it
a
right
bold
there.
move by that guy,
Yeah,
but
that takes some guts.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Not the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Well, no, it's not the greatest thing, but it takes some guts.
Yeah.
And DeSantis just looks so thin-skinned.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just have any fun with it. He gets
Well, what do you do with that
so
one?
insulted.
Yeah, but the guy's insulting him. What do you do with that one?
I think you can have some fun with that.
How do
thing.
you have fun with it?
Oh,
Tell-
Jesse had a great idea. You flip
Yeah.
it back around on him, and
Yeah. No, you say I don't need a participant. DeSantis did that a tiny bit, but you make it a whole thing. You don't have other people kicking him out. You sit there and you put the pressure on him, and you say I don't need your participation trophy award. I'm planning on winning this thing. And there's a lot of ways he could have handled it. And, like you're saying, make a joke with this guy.
Oh, totally.
That didn't sound like a joke. The way you almost made it sound like he needs to get passionate.
I mean, a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I just
What would
think
Trump
there's-
do?
Well, go home to mommy. That's what he says. That's what Trump does. Because there are some protesters.
Sit
who just
down,
did that to
loser.
him.
Sit down.
Yeah, that's
Sit
exactly
down,
what he told
loser.
the protesters.
Exactly. It's his go-to line.
Have
Go
you guys
home to
seen
mommy.
Shane Gillis's bit about Trump would be the funniest president to get shot?
I've seen that.
Have you seen this?
No.
Pull it up. Shane Gillis, great comic. He's got one of the best Trump impressions out there.
I think I've seen this guy do some stand-up.
Yeah. What do you type in? Well, you know what? They
Funniest
probably don't
president.
censor Trump getting shot. That's probably not censored on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
This is the funniest crap ever. Let's see here. Well, no, go back down. Shane Gillis does a spot on Trump impression. No. Oh, wait. What was that first one? No, not that one. Oh, there you go. Assassination joke. There you go. Yep, perfect. Watch this. This is great.
But back to what I was saying about what I said was true. If you had to rank them from least funny to funniest, assassination, easy number one. For real, he'd be talking shit like when it happened. He'd be doing like a rally. He'd be like, my opponent's gay. I walked in, I saw him. I said, wow, this guy's gay. The shooter would be coming out and be like, sit down. You're gay. Get hit. He'd definitely make a funny noise into the, like he'd get hit, be like, ah. And then fall. He'd fall funny.
Yeah,
You know,
there's
it's
more to
funny
that
is-
joke. It keeps going on where he talks about how you could punch assassinate Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Shane Gillis is, he's one of my favorite comedians out there right now. He's so funny, and he seems like a regular guy. He doesn't seem like a pretentious know-it-all like a lot of these comedians who think they're philosophers. It's like, no, you're there to make us laugh, and Shane Gillis knows that.
Have you noticed that stand-up comedians are like making fun of Joe Biden? Like I see more of it than ever.
Yes.
Have you seen the Joe Biden Roomba bit?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Wasn't
that
it?
was so
Wasn't
funny.
that a Shane Gillis bit?
I don't remember.
I think that's another Shane Gillis. Yeah.
Oh, hilarious.
Type in Joe Biden Roomba. What's so funny?
I'm
You
just
need
laughing at
audio
you guys
over
just
there
going down
because
this
this
rant.
is.
Well,
It's
we're
just
only
like-
at 3% right now reporting, so we need some filler.
Oh yeah.
Who does a live show right when the caucuses began? The audience is still here, so that's fine. Let's see here. Trump. No. I swear to God, it was Shane. What did we type in?
Joe Biden Roomba.
I am shocked that didn't come up.
Yeah.
It's
Wait,
Probably
that
gonna-
wasn't Trump. I swear to God, it was a comedian that made that up. I know Trump did it. Did Trump actually originate that joke?
I don't.
Scroll
think so.
down here.
Brad
That would
again.
be funny.
Brad says riveting.
Oh, come on, Brad. This is good stuff.
You know what? Maybe Trump did originate that joke. That'd be great.
It would be
Because it's
funny.
so accurate. There you go. Biden's speeches transform into a Roomba. Here's Shane Gillis again.
Yes.
Anytime I watch Biden do anything, I get the same feeling as like, you ever go to a friend's house and they have like a 16-year-old dog and it walks in the room? And you gotta do that whole like, oh, hey, there he is.
So
Just look at him, he's looking great. My favorite thing about Biden is anytime Biden finishes a speech, he transforms into a Roomba. Just... I miss it. I miss the Trump speeches. Trump gave what I think was probably one of the greatest speeches of world leaders given. You know, it's got to be up there with like Churchill, Gettysburg Address.
Oh, this is a good one.
It was my favorite speech I've ever seen a president give. It was the night the United States
so
killed
good.
the leader of ISIS. Trump comes out of the Situation Room at like midnight in the White House, and he walks down that fucking tunnel like and gives a press conference like he's giving a post-game NBA just killed a guy press conference. He walks up in front of the entire world at midnight and just goes, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead. He died like a dog. That's all him, dude. I'm gonna change one word of that. That's what he opened with.
That's actually true. There's a video of his stand-up right next to the video of Trump, and it is like verbatim the same thing. He said, yeah. Oh, God, do I even dare say? Dawson, look it up.
Oh, my God.
Here's the question. In comedy, it is like the worst thing you could do is to steal someone's joke. So did Shane Gill steal Donald Trump's joke about Roomba?
Maybe.
Public figures are exempt from that rule, I think.
I guess.
What do you want me to do?
I think there's you can actually see that dead ISIS joke or whatever, and they've got it matched up with Trump actually his speech saying it. You know, I think more likely Trump stole the joke from him. What an honor that would be. Because Trump, let's just be honest, is a freaking comedian. I mean, the guy is hilarious. I know that people at TDS can't admit that, but the guy is really funny. And that's kind of part of people like us who are, principle liberty people are like, yeah, but I kind of want to see the presidency. I kind of want to see how this thing plays out, right?
If he wasn't so entertaining, if he wasn't so funny, his support wouldn't be at where it's at.
No,
but it's because of the personality. I mean, like, people, it's kind of like you want to have someone you can drink a beer with, but it's more just someone you'd like to hang out with, someone that you see leadership qualities in. And, Trump definitely has those leadership qualities. I mean, especially because he's been president before, it's a different situation than 2016 because we're all looking at him and we say, this guy's done it before. He was, he wasn't just talking the talk then. He was actually ending these wars. He was actually preventing war from going on. And at least on foreign policy, that was the one area that, we didn't know what we were going to get with Trump. And then he went in there and it was almost always a pleasant surprise. There were a couple things here and there that I disagree with, but for the most part, it was just like, wow, this guy actually does want peace. Every other president claims to. He's the only one doing it.
Yeah, because he wants deals. He wants to get deals done.
Yeah, business deals. Yeah, he's all about the trade war instead of, a physical war, which I agree with. It's like, let's have our economies go into war with each other instead of our people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what he did with North Korea was great. Did you find it, Dawson?
No.
Yeah, it's somewhere out there. We don't need to rehash that. We're at 3% right now reporting, so still slow results coming in. Trump's at 53%, essentially what was predicted in the polling. Ron DeSanctimonious at 21.5%, as I predicted. So far, my predictions are looking good. Nikki Haley Birdbrain at 17.5%, and Vivek at 7%. Once again, if Vivek has got certain strong areas, Mort and Bridget,
just wait. He's going to be surging.
Just
surging.
Wait.
It's only 3%, like you said.
You sound like Q people. Just wait. Just
I
wait.
didn't say that.
You'll see, and it'll all be glorious. Let's go back to the comment section.
Odd one again says Epic Times posted that Trump wins Iowa Caucus. 7:31.
Well, listen, it's not that they aren't waiting for real results. They can.
Oh yeah.
What happens is news media outlets have they got formulas, all right, and they're just using those, and it's showing to them that there's no real path for someone else to get ahead just by the preliminary results. Okay, now with what I just said, there's also the media that wants to actually get the story out before everyone else, and that. Generally they don't have a problem, but they definitely had a problem in 2000 or year 2000 by calling Florida too early. They called it for wait, what the hell did they do? Now I'm already forgetting my history. Did they call it for Al Gore right away and then it got too close? Or am I getting the inverse? But anyhow, they called that one too early, and then you had the whole fiasco in Florida. By the way, stolen election according to Democrats in 2000. All those
election
hanging
deniers.
chads. What's that?
They're election deniers.
Election deniers, exactly. What else do we have in the comments here?
Not a lot of new ones. So on Facebook, I don't know who Eric Wallace is, but he says, F. Josh Heinzman will Mort campaign against him. Don't know where that came from.
What was this
Someone
comment?
wants to know if you're going to take on a leadership role and going after Josh Heinzman.
Yeah, go after Josh Heinzman. I don't know why and where that came up, but
What was his comment?
Eric Wallace says, F. Josh Heinzman will Mort campaign against him.
Okay, here's what we'll do. Let's do this. Pull up on our YouTube page. There's a video of Josh Heinzman, Representative Josh Heinzman, a Republican, door knocking Mort's house and wasn't aware of it. And your wife comes to the door, and he's trying to convince Mort's wife to vote for Bob Lunan, his opponent. He couldn't make it up. And then Mort comes home. And Mort comes home, and the guy runs off like scared, doesn't want to confront Mort. I guess he wasn't aware it was your house until you pulled up, and then he just...
Which it was hilarious. As soon as I pulled up and we locked eyes as I'm pulling the driveway, he was out of there.
Yeah. Oh, man. Do you got that video, Dawson?
I'm looking for it. I'm not seeing
let's see.
it.
That would have been...
Here it is.
August.
It's a 16-minute clip.
Ooh.
Yeah. Just put it on mute, and then we'll just kind of fast forward. You'll see he comes to the door. We won't actually have volume on this one. You can go to actionforliberty.com. Action for Liberty on YouTube. And what is this? It's a year ago. So this is Mort's. Very
this was
nice
a year
flowers
ago?
there, Mort.
Oh, my gosh.
Keep it very well. So there's Josh Heinzman. Drove down all the way from Brainerd to Dornoch in Shakopee. He goes to Mort's house, which I have to believe Mort. Someone told him, go to the houses with a Mort for Us sign.
Yeah, that's the only thing that makes any sense.
Yeah. And then try to convince them to flip their vote for Bob Lunan because Bob doesn't have much of a chance here. So go flip those votes. So he goes to your house, or someone sent him directly to your house, and he isn't aware that he is actually talking to your wife. And if you guys get a chance, you got to listen to Carrie. She did a hell of a good job. In fact, we created a Carrie for Governor sign after this because everyone was so impressed. Now go to the very end of this video, and you're going to see Mort pulls up in his black 4Runner. And Heinzman, Carrie actually goes, would you like to meet my husband? There he is. There's Mort coming home. Carrie's like, you want to meet my husband? And he says, sure. So Carrie comes out. This is so great. Hey, come on, meet him. And he realizes, nope, I don't want to meet him. And he takes off.
Yeah. And he walks
and then she
across
goes,
your lawn
where are you
too.
going? He's right here. So that's what Eric's referencing right there. By the way, I don't think you've talked about Josh Heinzman since that event, so I don't know if that guy's even on the radar. But
why would anybody talk about Josh Heinzman? I mean, seriously.
I knew Heinzman before he went to the Capitol. It was a nice guy, down to earth dude, and man, he went to the Capitol and just got ingrained in the.
I don't know if I believe
swamp.
that. I don't know if he was a nice dude before. Maybe he.
I knew him. I
don't know.
I didn't know him well.
But
we
you
had
think
done
the Capitol changed him?
Yeah, that happens to. Well, listen to what Mort has to say. The Capitol changes people.
Yeah.
You know, you get a seat at the Cool Kids Club, and all of a sudden you don't like the rebel rousers out here. You know, we're the problem. It's never them that are the problem. It's us that are the problem. You know, we ask for unreasonable things like, I don't know, giving back the surplus and not passing unconstitutional omnibus bills.
Yeah, when you ask them to do what they just campaigned on for 6 months, oh, you guys are crazy, you're radical.
That's like our joke, our running joke around here is, well, we can't do that. We need 4 legs of the 3-legged stool. It's like, or the running joke is, well, we can't do that unless we have the presidency. Well, we need a veto-proof Senate. Well, we need the Supreme Court. Well, we need a 2/3 override of veto. It's like there'll never be the conditions.
And then there's the filibuster. Right?
Yeah.
They got a million excuses.
And then once you get all those things in line, then we can have a 1% growth cut to the growth of government. It's like, yeah, we'll never get it, right? It's always a moving field goal post with these guys. We're still at 3%, by the way, in the Iowa caucus. I would imagine now that we're at 820, we're going to start seeing some results flood in. This is AP that reports it. So I'm just going to quickly do a Des Moines Register. By the way, the Des Moines Register is such a liberal rag.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost don't even want to give them any credit.
Napkin 8 says Trump went to where Nikki was caucusing and called her Hillary Clinton.
What?
Trump went to where
Nikki
was
Haley was
caucusing?
caucusing.
Called her
Called her
Hillary?
Hillary. I don't know.
Oh, that's great.
That we have to look up. Go to Des Moines Register. Let's just open up a Google or whatever. Let's do this live on air. I want everyone to see Des Moines Register, how they announced this. So we're going to Des Moines Register. Click on the main page, and here's the headline. Trump ignores Iowa tradition and easy caucus win. Second still up for grabs. You just can't even give the guy. It's like always got to beat him up. Every single headline. I know you know what they're talking about. Ignores Iowa tradition. What is the Iowa tradition here? By the way, there's a picture of Trump with his box of Casey's pizzas.
Yeah.
Today I was
like, yeah,
he knows.
where he went to the fire station.
Yeah.
Is that what he did?
Yeah, he went to the fire station and gave all these firefighters, a bunch of boxes of pizza and just thanked them for everything they do, all that kind of good stuff.
That's cool.
According to the Des Moines Register, the former president spoke to caucus goers at Horizon Event Center in Clive, receiving a standing ovation as he entered. He called himself the best president for farmers, and all Iowans attacking Joe Biden's administration as a disaster.
And, the thing is, I'd like to know, too, what they're trying to say, that he was against the Iowa tradition, because in his rally speech, he was out there saying, I protected the Iowa tradition of keeping you guys first in the nation. And you look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden wants to move you guys around. Joe Biden doesn't care what you guys think. I care what you think. So, Trump was, saying the exact opposite. So, I mean, what tradition are they claiming that he's...
And I am about 2/3 down in this article,
still haven't gotten
and they
to
have
it.
not gotten to it. See, this is exactly it. This is the lies of the media.
Yeah.
You look at that headline, and they want you to believe that Trump has done something bad, and nowhere in here do they actually tell you what it is. By the way, go back to that headline here. I want to show you guys something. This is a trick the media uses. Watch
Maybe
this.
the tradition is a close Iowa caucus. And he breaks tradition by
And of course,
winning by
we don't
40
read it
points.
that way. No one reads it that way. Go back to that headline on the Des Moines Register, because watch what happens when you click the story. He's lying corporate media. Okay, so there's ignores Iowa tradition, easy caucus win. Oh, shoot, we got the paywall. Can we do that? Just redo that and see if it... There you go. Oh, crap. Okay, anyhow, well, the screen that I get, Donald Trump cruises to early Iowa caucus history right there on my laptop. So, honest to God, it's like they write the headline on the main page. It doesn't even say that on the actual article. It's just freaking lying sacks of shit.
Yeah.
Damn corporate media. All right. So let's see.
Yeah,
here.
Fox News just did something similar to that. I was just, I saw this video. It said Dave Portnoy makes his endorsement for president. I thought, what the heck? Dave Portnoy is making an endorsement. I got to watch this thing. And what are they doing? Almost like 90% of the interview is them talking about Bill Belichick. And then the last 10% was him saying, well, Trump's not my first choice. And that was it.
That's it?
That's it. So, I was like, how is this going on here? And luckily, there were plenty of people in the comments section saying, like, Fox News is such a, what kind of fake news is this for them to be given this kind of title, leading people in? It's all clickbait. And, yeah, because I thought, I was sitting there like, when are they talking about this? And, at first I thought he's going to say he wants Bill Belichick for president. So it's unfortunate how, the media wants to just, get the views, get the clicks, rather than doing, honest reporting. But, that's why people got to stand up to it and reject, the mainstream media and look for alternative places to get information.
Bill Belichick for his running mate.
Yeah.
Maybe think about that. Half the
Wouldn't
nation
be bad.
would be pissed.
Yeah.
Ellie Cat says Royce White is running against Amy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 'cause Cindy
well, they
Lou
say
asked.
there's no credible candidate. That's the narrative that the media keeps reporting. There's no credible candidate. They've already decided he's not credible.
Racist media.
We got to get Royce White on the show. I'd
Yeah.
like to have him on the show.
I met him at State Central last month.
What are your thoughts?
Real brief interaction. I couldn't, give an opinion on the guy.
Did he actually get to speak at State Central?
No.
No, he was just a guest.
So there's actually a guy announced that he's running for the Republican ticket against Amy Klobuchar. They don't give him a stage.
Yeah, and the Republicans don't care. Yeah, but who do they give the stage? Tom Emmer. Who do they give the stage? Michelle Fischbach. So they're willing to put up the establishment puppets at any time. And speaking of establishment puppets taking the stage, maybe we should look at Doug Burgum endorsing Trump. I got that. I got that link in there, Dawson. Line 14. And starting at an hour and 7 minutes in is basically when Doug Burgum goes up there to endorse Trump. And there's a particular lie in there that I think should be covered. So, go ahead and go to that timestamp, and we can see Doug Burgum, Bill Gates Burgum, come out and endorse Trump because he's an opportunistic rhino, just like Emmer.
Who's a woman on the left?
That's his wife.
Is that his wife?
Yeah, that's Burgum's wife.
Love coming down to Iowa, especially on a day like today, because we come down here to warm up. But 4 years ago, I was speaking on behalf of President Trump at the Iowa caucuses in Sioux City. And today, I'm here to do something that none of the other presidential primary candidates have done. And that's endorse Donald J. Trump for the President of the United States of America.
All right, and that's good right there.
You know, it would have been better for Trump just not even do that because that gave him zero bump.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And so it'd be funny diss to
I
Burgum.
think it's more just like you want to get some kind of last minute endorsement, and for Trump, Doug
Just a
Burgum
headline.
fit the bill. And
Yeah, but like Trump's the one guy that doesn't need a headline, right? Like,
right, yeah, exactly.
Like Vivek needs a headline. People are like, oh, well, who is this guy? Like, what are they going to learn about Trump at this point?
Yeah, and especially
Everyone knows what they know. Everyone knows what to think about Donald Trump.
And Burgum obviously maybe he wants an administration role. I don't think Trump's going to give it to him. And especially when you look at recent American history, I mean, look at Obama. How many of the Democratic opponents that he had did he put inside the cabinet? Well, I guess he put Joe Biden as VP and Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State. How about Trump in 2016? Out of the 17 different people he was running against, how many people did he put in the cabinet? Only one, Ben Carson. If you look at George Bush, I don't think he put any in the cabinet. I don't know about Bill Clinton either. I don't think Bill Clinton, he definitely didn't put, who was Jerry, the California governor before Newsom?
Jerry
Something. But whatever it is, it's not like he was in a Clinton cabinet. So all of that, I think Burgum is trying to take advantage of the opportunity. But what Doug Burgum just said right there was he said, I am the first GOP candidate to drop out and endorse President Trump, well, except for Perry Johnson. Perry Johnson was, he was the first one to get out of the race and say, I'm going to support President Trump. I wish everybody else to do the same thing.
What about this guy?
Ryan Binkley's still in it.
He's still running?
He's still running. That's also the thing. I saw the Wall Street Journal isn't listing him as a candidate. I mean, same thing with Asa Hutchinson. They're still in the race, even if they're going to get less than 1%.
Google this guy.
Yeah.
What's his first name?
Ryan Binkley. And he's a pastor, interesting guy. But, so Perry Johnson, Larry Elder, they both endorsed Trump. I even wrote an article back when that happened. So Doug Burgum, he's trying to take advantage of it. I wish Trump would have corrected him and said, actually, you weren't the first one. I don't know why you would come on my stage and lie to all of these voters. But that's what Doug Burgum was trying to do. He was trying to lift up his own profile. And, even though it's only people like me that are going to care that say, come on, why are you lying about Larry Elder and Perry Johnson? But somebody's got to speak the truth.
I was just looking to see if Bush appointed someone, and it said on the Wikipedia, it says people who declined to run: John Ashcroft, Newt Gingrich, Jack Kemp, Donald Trump, who ran for the Reform Party nomination in 1988. Did you know that? No,
that was 2000. And no, he didn't fully run for the Reform Party nomination. He created an exploratory committee, and he went to a couple of different Reform Party events. He was considering it, but the Reform Party was splitting off. I think it was that election where they completely broke apart into two, where they had two separate nominating national conventions, where they nominated two separate different candidates. One of them was Pat Buchanan. Another one was a former Colorado governor who was more of a moderate. And eventually the Pat Buchanan wing of the party was the party that was recognized by the FEC. And so Pat Buchanan became the Reform Party candidate at that point. And it's interesting how Trump talks about Buchanan now and what he used to say about Buchanan, because he used to say Buchanan's a little out there. He's a little too far out there. This guy's a little crazy. Now, I mean, Trump is a Buchanan-type leader in the way that he was the president and everything else. But, there's a lot of interesting videos of Trump at that time. There was one where, some lady goes up and she says, you don't care about our platform. You don't agree with 90% of what we say and do. And Trump said, nobody cares about your platform. Nobody reads your platform but you. And it was awesome because it was like, exactly, nobody cares about the Reform Party. It's a vehicle to try to get someone good into office. Before it was Ross Perot, and they could have had Trump, but Trump realized it was too damaged, too divisive. But at that time, it was almost looking like it was going to be Donald Trump, Jesse Ventura. And that would have been an incredible ticket right there. But, things work out the way that they do, and I think that things are working out even better in this way because, it's almost like we needed that pause between 2016 and now. Because now we see how bad we have it with Biden. And
that's true.
I think a lot of people are appreciating Trump a whole lot more now that he's not in there.
So Tim Walz said he would, I don't remember what his language was, basically would endorse Doug Burgum as he's like his pick for the Republican.
Yeah, he
so by extension, did Tim Walz just endorse Donald
think
Trump?
you're onto something.
Doesn't that work that way?
It seems that way. And I'm seeing Napkin 8 on there saying per Laura Loomer. I don't know what that's in reference to.
I think just to the fact that he was talking about when he said Trump called Nikki Hillary, and he said it was actually Don Jr., and then he said per Laura Loomer.
Oh, okay.
And he also said Jesse has a great memory.
Thank you.
No kidding. You are
I
an
know,
interesting
it is,
dude.
like,
That was
mind.
crazy.
I love the reform. All the third party knowledge and history of everything that was going on there. But Trump had just mentioned Laura Loomer at his most recent Iowa rally, at the same one with Doug Burgum, and he basically said that's not the kind of person you want against you. And I think that's right because Laura Loomer, she is. She goes out there and she goes nuts on some of these candidates that, DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, when she's at their events. Just recently, she got kicked out of a Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis event.
I saw that.
They kicked her out because, they want nothing to do with her. And it shows they're afraid of tough questions. It's not like Laura Loomer. Why are you intimidated by Laura Loomer? It doesn't make any sense to me. And if they were smart, they'd be like Trump trying to win her over because Laura Loomer is not the kind of person you want against you.
Why?
Just because she doesn't have limits. She's willing to go after someone,
Yeah,
on
but isn't
everything.
she just like a Trump, can't do any wrong, kind of like I don't even care, it's all Trump?
I think that's what. I mean, I've kind of gone full circle. A week ago, I was like, this chick's kind of crazy. And then she got kicked out of DeSantis' event and Haley's event and exposed him. Like, oh, that's hardcore. And then she was attacking Vivek over like some T-shirts. And I was like, what the? Like, she praised him one day, slandered him the next day.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of gone full circle from she's crazy to that's hardcore to, okay, yeah, she's pretty crazy.
Do I look tired? Razzle Dazzle says I look tired.
Apparently.
I don't think I look tired.
I like Laura Loomer. I would agree with her on everything, some of the Israel stuff and everything. But I've had some communication back and forth, and she appreciates some of the things I've written, and so I don't know. I mean, I think Laura Loomer and I are more on the same. We're reading the same book, maybe not on the same page.
I love that she's that brave to go do that stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, she's like Michelle Lieben on steroids.
Yeah, right.
I mean, and I saw she was with Marnie when she got kicked out of was it DeSantis' event?
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah.
How can Michelle even be on steroids? I mean, I don't think that's possible. She's got
Michelle
tenacity.
may take that as a shot.
We were in the Star Tribune. We should pull this up. We were in the Star Tribune, Sunday's edition, and no, our picture didn't make it in there, but Michelle Even's in it.
In the Star Tribune article?
Yeah. Let's just Google.
It's gonna paywall me,
I wonder if it'll have a paywall though. See if it. You know what? I'll pull it up. I'll put it in the link or on the show link here. Hopefully
Still sitting at 4%, no change.
I know it's taking forever.
Donald slipping 51.5.
Oh boy!
Which, once again, doesn't really mean anything.
Vivek's at 13. Just kidding.
I was gonna say what?
That'd be
Vivek's
big.
at 13.
Where the hell's the article? It doesn't come up in a Google search.
Did you guys know that Tekken 8 is coming out soon?
Who?
Tekken 8, a fighting game, and it's
Nope.
so sick.
Well, of course we knew that.
Yeah?
What kind of fighting game?
It's
like
a
Mortal Kombat or
it is a 3D fighting game. It's an arena-based fighter, and it's been around since Jake was a kid, I think.
I think I remember the Tekken fighting game.
Yeah, there's a bear in it, and there is a robot that you could play as. It's super cool.
Okay, I do not remember that.
Super awesome.
Here's something funny. The Star Tribune has a paywall on its main page.
Yeah.
You can't even see their main page. Why would you do a paywall? Okay, that were. Oh no, Maybe that was just an ad. Okay.
Yeah, it's like the Washington Post. Democracy dies in darkness. Meanwhile, you don't have a subscription. You're not allowed to read this, you know. So it's like you're left out of the light of information. But
That's
you
so
know,
funny.
it's just crazy. You know, did you guys see that Lex Friedman interview with Jeff Bezos?
No, I haven't. I'm so behind on everything.
Oh yeah,
so
no,
I
it's
just-
really interesting. You know, at least it just shows him as an inventor, as a businessman. You know, they don't get political or anything like that, but it was just like, wow, this is really fascinating stuff, and you could see how much Jeff Bezos loves space. And you know, I didn't realize how smart of a guy he was and how much of a hard worker he was, and you know, I gained a little respect for him after watching something like that. Because you know, Bezos kind of keeps to himself. He doesn't do a whole lot of interviews. I've never seen a podcast with him on besides that one.
What kind of rhino world are you living in, or
Rhino.
globalist world are you living in? Line 20. Let's see if that pulls up, Dawson. Line 20.
It's just
the
like Hillary.
article. The article on the Star
Evil
Tribune.
but smart.
That's right. The article on Star Tribune, with their relevance on the line, can Minnesota Republicans stop fighting each other? Seeking to win back control of the state house in November, Republicans are trying to unite the party's warring factions. This picture of David Hand, that goofy guy on the front page.
He's trying to unite our warring factions.
Yeah, see, look at him.
What a joke.
I know, what a joke. Even when the control of the legislature was at... Oh, this is an article written by Ryan Faircloth and Brianna Bierschbach. Birschbach? I don't know how to pronounce it. I actually met her at the state convention and ran into her. And she's like, oh, you're Jake Duesenberg. So I thought she was a nice person, you know. I mean, Star Tribune. We'll see. But we're always far right, according to the Star Tribune, which is hilarious because it's like, I don't know if you really got us pegged correctly. Even when control of the legislature was at stake, Minnesota Republicans could not stop fighting each other. In a critical East Metro State Senate race, GOP voters chose anti-establishment conservative Tom DePel to represent them over more moderate Republican Tony Jurgens. Stung by his primary election loss, Jurgens did the unthinkable. He endorsed DePel's Democratic opponent, Judy Seeberger, who went on to defeat the Republicans in the 2022 election by just a few hundred votes. That race gave Democrats a one-seat majority in the Senate and full control of state government, which the DFL used last year to pass a slate of progressive policies in the largest state budget in history. Some Republicans blamed Jurgens' unprecedented endorsement for DePel's loss, while others said GOP activists shouldn't have backed a hardline conservative suburban swing district. David Hand, chairman of the Republican Party in Minnesota, came to a different conclusion. The bitter intra-party feuds turned some voters off. Quote by David Hand, it did no doubt drive some Republicans to say, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to vote at all, Hand said in a recent interview. Now, Hand, I don't know if he's an idiot. Maybe he's an idiot. But the two House District Republicans won. So what's the factor? If they just stayed at home because they were sick of it, that doesn't make sense. Why did the Republicans in the House districts win? And the obvious answer is the Republican establishment got behind Tony Jurgens. Tony Jurgens then proved to everybody, to the whole world, that there are something called rhinos who really don't give a crap about Republicans. They'll literally endorse a Democrat. And that gave complete control. Anyhow, you can read some of the story. They interview David Hand, Snooze Fest. Then they interview that moron David Osmek, Snooze Fest. By the way, David Osmek and David Hand, everything they say about us, we invite them on the show. They refuse to come on the show. They're too chicken shit to actually come on here and debate us. But the offer's always there, guys. Stop being little babies. Come on the show. Let's have a discussion. Let's have a grown-up discussion, David Hand, David Osmek. But you're too...
Let's unite.
Yes,
right?
let's,
They say they want
let's
to unite. Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's heal factions.
Yes. They go on to interview. I'm just kind of cruising through this till we get to our part in the article. By the way, we were like, okay, Star Tribune, we'll give them some comments because we'll spice up this article. They interview John Rouleau of the Jobs Coalition, which basically is the establishment. By the way, Jobs Coalition spent a ton of money against you in your last race and against Mark Bashosky. So
Yeah,
they
I think it
spent,
was
what's that?
6 figures, wasn't it?
I want to say it was 6 figures.
Yeah. I think it was
All in
like
all, so and what's interesting about that is they get this money bundled from the Republican State Leadership Committee. So it's like a federal PAC. They bundled the money into the state of Minnesota, and I got to imagine they told them, hey, we're going to get rid of the Democrats in Minnesota. And what do? They end up spending 6 figures against like conservatives in the primary here in Minnesota. Then they get to Freedom Club. They talk to Alex Karam at the Freedom Club. And this right here, and Dawson, I think, is using the bathroom. And I'll show you the picture of Michelle, but it's a picture. You want to scroll down to this picture. It's got a guy in a mask. I don't know who this guy is. Right there. See, Michelle's in there. It says, Mike Smith, Center, along with a group of protesters and media, wait outside the meeting room of the Republican Party of Minnesota as the party's executive board met to force out Jennifer Karna as the state party chair on August 19, 2021 in Edina. So there you go. Michelle made it. I don't know. Is this a reporter with the mask on? Funny. All right. Anyhow, then the article goes to attacks from within, just below this, Dawson. Oh, no. I'm sorry. This is about Carnahan. Actually, they talk about Amanda Hughes and her beef with the party. Then they talk about trying to overthrow Han. By the way, they blame us for the overthrow of Han. It's almost like Larry Deuce is not a person. Larry, you're a person. You're a good guy. You're a patriot. Keep scrolling down. Oh, okay. Then you'll see our, and this is on the online version, you'll see the dump wall. Look at it. Now, isn't that a great-looking booth right there? Isn't that one wonderful? Mm-hmm. Actually, Bridget, you made it. That's a picture of you. And Jesse.
I am there.
And who's that behind you? That's not Michelle, is it? Was she working that day?
Maybe Heidi? Is that Heidi?
Yeah, it might be Heidi.
Oh, Heidi made it? I'm like chopped liver. Noah and Bridget and Heidi and Jesse are on there, and I'm nowhere to be seen. Feel slighted. Anyhow, more primary battles? Question mark. The far right group Action for Liberty. Ooh, far right. You know, I don't know what I'm really curious how they define far right. You know what I mean? Like, I think they'd be shocked at some of the things we believe. But anyhow, far right group.
I think if you're more conservative than the establishment, you're far right.
I know. Like what is far right to these guys?
Yeah.
You know, it's like to the right of to the right of today's modern political status quo. I mean, like, you're a reasonable person. The far right group Action for Liberty has been a persistent foe of the Republican establishment in Minnesota, encouraging primary challenges against incumbent GOP lawmakers it's deemed rhinos, short for Republicans in name only. In 2022, Action for Liberty backed Appel in his primary race against Juergens, as well as several other hardline candidates. The group's president, Jake Duesenberg, said, this is old story here, right, Mort? Not anymore. I got my last press right in my final week. Jake Duesenberg suggested that Action for Liberty may once again push for intra-party battles this year. Quote, I'd say it's a target-rich environment for folks who want better representatives who will actually fight for the liberty, Duesenberg said in an email. By the way, if you're dealing with the press, just don't talk to them on the phone or in person. They're going to twist your words around. Just submit it in writing. That way they can't. They have to go with what you said. Establishment-aligned Republicans have been highly critical of Action for Liberty. David Hand called it a fringy group, and Osmek accused Action for Liberty of seeking to, quote, create chaos within the Republican Party. Now, they didn't take my direct quote in response to that, but, you know, who's creating chaos in the Republican Party? I don't know. David Osmek and the Senate Republicans, who literally went against the endorsed candidate Appel, endorsed Juergens, worked behind the scenes for Juergens, who then ends up giving the race to the Democrats. Osmek says if they worked half as hard to try and help candidates, maybe we'd actually be in the majority in one of the chambers. In response, Duesenberg called both Hand and Osmek a failure and said neither of them know how to win. Quote, the Republican establishment is short-sighted and choose to spend their resources fighting against liberty rather than for it, which has cost them political power, Duesenberg said. Maybe once they wise up and realize it's better politically to fight for liberty rather than against it, their fortunes will change. And I mean every word of that, guys. All right, then they show a picture of Nolan West, this cornball, in Blaine. And apparently he wants to bury the hatchet. A pivotal moment. Losing all power in state politics has motivated some Republicans to put past grudges aside. State Representative Nolan West, a fourth-term Republican from Blaine, sought charges against Action for Liberty. What? You did not? After he was physically forced out of a meeting the group hosted in his district in 2022. 22. Now he said it's time to, quote, bury the hatchet. I haven't got the call from Nolan West of burying the hatchet. It's shocking.
So strange.
Now, what he's referring to is an incident where he crashed our event where we're training activists to go to caucus. And the guy that we hired to do basically the training that night, I came there and gave a little pep speech. I was actually, I think, training people back here. I had 3 different events that night. And gave a little pep speech. So I'm up there talking. And the guy who's doing the training is like, we're asking you to leave because we don't train politicians. We train activists. And he refuses to leave and then blocks the guy from getting back in the door right before he's supposed to speak. So he moves him out of the way and then files a fake police complaint against the guy, Tony. And it's like, now, I mean, by the way, got completely dismissed. Because, in fact, we should have said, isn't it a crime to file a fake police report? I mean, quite frankly, plus, why are you wasting cops' time? Aren't you pro-law enforcement? Why are you wasting their time on bullshit when you know you're in the wrong? But anyhow, I love how their spin is Action for Liberty was being charged. But anyhow, it's time to bury the hatchet. What hatchet? I mean, where is the hatchet? Let's bury it. Give us a call. You know where we exist. That guy's such a loser. Anyhow, funny story on Star Tribune. You can go check it out there.
We might want to look at these Iowa results because it's 36% in now.
There we go. Let's bring it back up.
A lot of big things.
And I'm
going
guessing
on.
he says that because he likes where the results are.
I do like it, and Trump is exactly where I claim, 52%.
52%, just like the polls.
Yep.
Looks like I don't remember what your prediction was on DeSantis, but
I said 20.5.
That's pretty damn good.
20.2.
So you and I were right on the money. We both guessed that he would break 20. Birdbrain is below it.
Mm-hmm.
And Vivek's at 8%.
Mm-hmm.
Mort?
The surging has begun.
That's
why
we brought
he's
you
got
as
everybody
president.
right where he wants them, okay?
That's why we brought you as president. We need an optimistic guy, you know.
Oh, hold on a second.
Good spin.
Ryan Binkley has more votes than Asa Hutchinson. That's right. Believe in Binkley.
Let's go.
He's got 251 votes, and Asa Hutchinson, Ada Hutchinson, is down to only 63 votes. This is a former governor of Arkansas, and he's getting beat out by a pastor from Texas, Ryan Binkley. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like to see that.
You're going to get the best reading of results anywhere on the planet right here. We're not going to pull any punches here.
Mm-hmm.
Ada, I don't even understand. What is Ada Hutchinson? Like, what's that even reference to? Why did Trump just call him Ada?
I don't know where Ada came from. I really don't know. Yeah, no, I mean Ada. Ada is a county in Idaho. It's like a Native American word, but that's not even how Trump spells it. Trump spells it AIDA.
That's
so I don't even know where he's getting it. So
I bet I know what happened. He accidentally called him Ada. Pretend like he accidentally called him Ada.
So he had to stick with it.
So then he can later call him Beta Hutchinson if he ever got any traction.
Mm-hmm.
But he never did, so it is what it is.
Ada is a Broadway musical.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Look
ADA?
how cultured you are.
AIDA.
Oh, okay.
You knew that I was in musicals as a high
Yes,
schooler?
I did know that.
What?
Yes,
It's
Wikipedia, Ada musical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Elton John and Tim Rice's Ada.
It's about Egyptians and royalty and stuff, so I don't know if it tracks, but
It sounds interesting. Elton John made it, so
the goat.
no, that's interesting. But yeah, no, I mean, so far these results are kind of falling in line with what I expected. Hopefully, the rest of them come in here pretty quickly. But
Is this the most boring Iowa caucus? It's like literally as the polls showed.
pretty much that's what it's looking like.
Wait, no, I take that back. Hold on. The polls are Haley's in second. This is what we literally want. I'm going to send the link here to you, Dawson. I'm putting in line 21. Let's look at the Iowa caucus polling. So Birdbrain's going to actually, the steam's going to come out real quick if she is second to DeSantis. See, Haley's right now, the RCP average is 19, but look at the most recent ones. She was trending higher than DeSantis.
Mm-hmm.
So he's outperforming her.
Hmm.
Now, let me ask you this. Weren't you saying DeSantis is going to drop out? Was that your prediction, Mort?
I stand by that prediction.
So,
will
and
finish
he
fourth
very likely
tonight,
could, right?
And he will drop out by tomorrow night.
So what happens if he drops out? I think a lot of his people go over to Trump's camp, I would imagine.
DeSantis?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, there you go. And Ramaswamy, I mean, if Ramaswamy went all in on Iowa and he can't even break 10, I mean, he's done and he's endorsing Trump day one.
Yeah, I think he's got to be super disappointed with that. For as much work as he's put in, to finish it looks like 8%, which is about what the polls were showing. I mean, I guess the polls were like 5%, the last poll. So I guess you could say he outperformed by 60%.
Wasn't DeSantis like initially running on I'm the not Trump guy? Like, go for me.
He was always trying to
Trump.
have it both ways. You know, he was always trying to do this whole thing where, you know, I'm different than Trump, I'm better than Trump, but Trump's okay, and Trump isn't okay because he said this and this and this about me. You know, I think Trump got under his skin, and sometimes, like, when you get emotions into something, you can't think clearly, and you're just kind of going off of, you know, some hatred.
Do you think that DeSantis would endorse Trump after dropping out?
Over Nikki, I think he would. You know, some people say, you know, Vivek is out there saying, you know, Ron is going to become Nikki's VP. I don't see that happening. But, you know, if Ron endorsed Nikki, I mean, his political career is already in trouble right now. Mm-hmm. If he did that, it'd be all over. And I don't think he's dumb enough to do that. I think he would swallow his pride and I think he wouldn't endorse. I think he would just let the people decide. I think that's more Ron's way. Because, I mean, he is, you know, now if he barely gets second or he comes in third here, where does that put him for New Hampshire? You know, some polls put him at 5-6% in New Hampshire. He doesn't have much of a chance in New Hampshire, and especially if he doesn't come out of here looking good. How long is DeSantis going to stay in there? Is he going to stay in there until the Florida primary where Trump is beating him in the polls? So if he can't even win his home state, just like Nikki Haley, she can't win South Carolina. They're not going to win their home states. You're supposed to drop out at that point. But, you know, I don't think Nikki Haley, I don't think she has the, what am I trying to say? I think that she's going to stay in the race no matter what. I think that she's so desperate and she'll take anything that she can get. And it doesn't matter if she loses her home state.
Well, I do think some are playing the long game. Pull up line 22, by the way, Dawson. She's got to play the long game in case they don't allow Trump to be on the ballot. That's legitimately what a lot of people are thinking. This is
she's
Chip Roy seen at Trump's thank you speech or whatever you want to call it. Congratulatory speech. Victory speech. I don't know why that slipped my mind what the hell I'm trying to say.
What the heck? Here, put the sound on. What's Trump saying?
Wasn't Chip Roy in for DeSantis?
Yeah. That's the big news story here.
Very well.
Do we have volume?
Great people that devastated.
Is there sound?
Families are devastated.
Barely.
We left back
I hear it.
behind
I hear nothing.
$85 billion worth of brand new equipment that I bought.
Yeah,
It's hard to tell what he's talking
he's
about.
just saying about the equipment he bought. I didn't catch the beginning of it there, but no, I mean, obviously, what's Chip Roy doing there? He's there to keep tabs on the event. He's there to try to convince people. He's there to try to talk to people. And, you know, Trump just sent out that True Social post saying, Chip Roy is a rhino. Do not trust Chip Roy. I think he's been given the nickname Chip Soy. So, you know, a lot of people are seeing him as, you know, a little feminine, a little soft, you know, and I don't know. It's interesting that him and Massey
Chip
are
Soy.
Yeah, Chip Soy. And so maybe him and Massey, you know, they're out there for DeSantis, and I don't know. It's not speaking to a lot of people. I think a lot of people, you know, a lot of people like Massey, and some people like Chip Roy, and some people even like DeSantis, but I think they're just looking at it and just saying, it's not your time.
Yeah.
It's not now. And, you know, DeSantis, he's not up for it. He obviously doesn't have the personality. You know, DeSantis, you know, is he a risk in a general election? I mean, against Biden, hopefully nobody's a risk. Mm-hmm. But, you know, if there was a real slick Democrat, we'd have a tough time selling DeSantis. You know, it'd be a real tough time trying to convince young people that, no, this guy's actually cool, but he's not. You know, it's
Hello,
a tough
fellow
sell.
kids.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, it's one of those things like, you know, Trump actually is cool. He actually is funny. So it's easy to get people to kind of, you know, see what we're trying to say about him. But DeSantis, you have to kind of see something that's not even there, and you have to pretend like he's better than he was, which it's tough to do.
Holy crap.
What's that?
I'm just now looking at this Vivek Ramaswamy Twitter post. It's super long.
Yeah, the Trump one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, that was the first time I think Trump really went after him, and it's like, oh, well, now I got to respond.
We looked at the Trump truth, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And since we're just sitting here, why don't we go back to that Trump rally speech? There was another section in there that I thought was pretty interesting, and it's just a quick little thing, Dawson. It's an hour and 19 minutes and 27 seconds. It's the Iron Dome for America. It's something that Trump had said, and it's on line 14 is the link there. An hour, 19 minutes, 27 seconds into it, Trump had said something really, really interesting about, I don't even want to spoil it. I think we should just listen to it.
Of ours, they say. I mean, some people say that. It's very sad, but we'll end that very soon. One of the things we're going to do in one of my platforms that people don't pick up as much as they should, though, but we're going to build an Iron Dome over our country because we want to protect ourselves. We're giving other country, we give Iron Domes to other countries, but we don't do it. It'll all be made in the USA. They work. In the old days, Ronald Reagan wanted that too, but they didn't work at that time.
Yeah, that's good right there, Dawson.
Boy, I really feel like he's missing a step these days, honestly.
I mean, no, that was one of those things. I mean, there's some speeches where you can tell he's a little, I don't
he's a
want to
normal
say slower,
person, and
but
the lack of sleep's getting to him.
A normal person, right? Just that, and sometimes it's like maybe he got 3 hours of sleep instead of 4 hours last night.
Which is crazy. I get more
tired. That's
the
thing, what is Trump going to be like in 4 years? It's not going to be anything like Joe Biden. I mean, is he going to be a little bit older? Yeah, everybody ages. That's part of life, and that's something that we obviously see that Trump doesn't age like Obama or Bill Clinton or these other Bush or these other presidents did. He aged a little bit, but he still looks pretty young. And he gets those rallies going. If you just watch, Trump's rallies, just the hand motions and just everything that's going on there, no sound or anything, just you speed through it. I mean, that guy's got energy. You can just see it throughout the entire speech. He's doing this, he's doing this. He's all over the place all the time. So it wasn't his it wasn't his craziest rally speech in the world, but it was fun enough to just basically get people riled up and get people ready to go to the caucus, and that's all I needed to do was just tell people about that. But
I think that this time around Trump's age is showing a lot more in this early stuff, though.
Well, I mean, he's older, so his age would show more now than it would ever before, just like Biden, just like any person.
How old
Ellie Cat makes a great comment.
I was just going to say, she said, look at the crap he's dealing with.
Yeah.
How's that not age a person?
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, all the stress. I mean, who wouldn't age?
How old is he now?
78, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Yeah,
that's all he gets.
You'd never guess it, though.
I don't even want to live that long. Like, at all.
I assume I'll die by
I hit
like
65. I'm
in a pasture, please.
Yeah.
You're like a racehorse in a pasture.
Yeah. But just the thing that Trump had said there about the Iron Dome, where he said, we give Iron Domes to other countries, we don't give one to ourselves. I like that message because it basically tells me that I think he even kind of sees, we're not going to give Israel everything they want. And I think Trump even wants to see an end to that, or at least I hope so. He's the only one that I maybe believe would actually try to end it. I think Vivek doesn't care at all. DeSantis and Nikki, they'd be on the side of Netanyahu on every little thing that he'd do. I think Trump is the only one who might try to kind of push back against Netanyahu, who might try to negotiate, who might try to do his own thing. And I think, at a certain point, we have to understand that Israel's taken advantage of us, and they're the aggressors in this war now. Should Hamas ever have attacked them on October 7th? No. But
thank God you answered that way.
If that's all predicated on the fact that if we truly believe that Israel didn't see it coming, if we truly believe that Israel didn't want to use this to start their next war, if we truly believe that they didn't want to cause a genocide so that they could expand their land, I'm at the point now. I don't trust Israel. I don't trust what their government's doing. I don't trust their efforts in the war.
State. Yeah.
Yeah, Israel, right?
Yeah, because it's like
It-
America.
it's governments, it's not the people.
Right, exactly.
Right. But that said, I think, it's one of those things. We give them an Iron Dome. We do all this stuff for them. And, Netanyahu, I don't know if you had seen, he basically is trying to hand the war over to us as if it's our responsibility to fight for what they want. He's the aggressor. He's the one who needs to negotiate. You really want to, if Netanyahu was specifically going after targeted Hamas leaders, the whole world would be with him. But that's not what he's doing. He's bombing hospitals. He's bombing schools. He's bombing weddings. He's bombing, houses. He's bombing villages. He's acting like an evil dictator, and he's only doing it because that's the only way that he can maintain his power. And I don't know. I'm just fed up with Israel. That's where I'm at with this whole thing. I think I think Netanyahu's a liar. I think that they're.
I mean, he's not even liked by his people right now. He's very unpopular.
And you look at, I don't know if it fits the correct definitional term of genocide, but I mean, what do you call it after a certain point where he's trying to wipe out the people there and he's telling everyone to leave and he's trying to get Egypt and all these other countries to accept them as refugees because then they're out of Netanyahu's hair. I've just gotten to the point where I think we can't just let them push us around. We're in charge. We're the leader of the world, not Israel.
Mm-hmm. That's
and,
true.
Imagine the Vatican, another religious state like that, having all kinds of power and authority over us, which, I mean, I'm sure we do because if Joe Biden actually wanted to, or any president, if they really wanted to expose the Vatican and all the pedophiles they're hiding there, and not just the Vatican.
Where are we going with this one?
Israel is also hiding a lot of pedophiles, too. You should look into that story. CBS put out a story like that.
Well,
before.
9 o'clock. This is where we go on the show at 9 o'clock.
I'm just saying, no. This is a true story. I mean, if you look it up.
What do we look it up on?
If you look, I mean, you can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Google. You can find it on anything. If you look up Jewish pedophiles flee to Israel, you can find all kinds of
I
stuff.
wonder what you would find if you searched that up.
Well, I mean, go ahead, find it, because that's where they all go.
Isn't it,
right before they're going to be charged.
Google Jewish minor attracted persons.
Got it.
Let's be very PC on this one.
They flee to Israel. I mean, this is a fact that there's a lot of pedophiles hiding out in Israel.
There's a lot of pedophiles everywhere.
That's what I was just going to say. There are a lot of pedophiles here.
Here's the thing. They were going to be charged, and what do? Because they're Jews and they have citizenship in Israel. They flee to Israel.
Yeah, but what's your story here?
I'm just saying it goes on.
No, what are you saying here? I don't understand what you're saying. Like,
That
you
there's
have
pedophiles
sick
in Israel.
pedophiles in America that literally would maybe flee us to a different state.
Right, yeah, here's the thing. Let's say there's a pedophile from Mexico who flees into the United States. What are we going to do? Return them to Mexico.
No, we're not. Not at all. That is not happening.
Is that not what we should do?
Yeah, that's what we should do, but we are literally allowing these people to just come on in and stay here.
I know.
In fact, it does
I'm
seem
saying
like
what we
we're
should do.
trafficking young children.
And I'm just saying we shouldn't allow these governments to be hiding out pedophiles that committed these crimes in our country, and then we let them all off the hook because they're now a citizen for another country. Mm-hmm. Give me a break.
I know, but my only point is, like, this is happening all over the place. It's like you're singling out Israel like it's some kind of...
No, I'm not. I'm saying the Vatican's guilty. I mean, Saudi Arabia. I mean, we could run down the whole list of countries that are hiding out their pedophiles, you know?
Well, I came back from the bathroom thinking we were going to be winding things down.
No, we're at 30. Please, Iowa Caucus, give us some results so we can move on for the night.
It has not moved.
Did you look it up,
No,
Dawson?
we've been...
Yeah, I looked up Jewish...
I mean, I'll find the article.
I looked up
if
Jewish
I need to.
maps, and here's what I found. I don't know if that's helpful.
That's not helpful at all.
No.
But
Are
you got to
those
imagine
just
that's funny, the
maps
guy that
of-
put Mark over it. What does CPete have to say on Rumble?
Jesse is spot on. Oh,
Thank you.
Look up Ben
Bankus mask
Idaho.
on X. Great stand-up bit on masks. Great filler for you. He's giving us...
Hey, K-Wolf is here. What day is this? Hey,
Hey.
K-Wall. Good to see you. Our most reliable fan, K-Wall and T-Wall. And we did a switcheroo. They were at the Wild game. That's why.
I think that I'm getting hungry because I looked at Idaho is loaded with pedophiles, and I immediately thought loaded baked potatoes sound really
that
good
does
right
sound-
now.
Yeah, you're at a calorie
That does
deficit.
sound good.
Yeah, I'm so
you guys
hungry.
need a snack here? We are 2 hours in. Dawson can go throw a snack in.
No, I'm okay. It's probably
We have
for the
assortment of
best.
treats. I just want to get us to a majority or plurality of the vote before we
Yeah,
sign
what
off
are we
here.
at here?
We're
We're
at
still at
38%,
38.
stuck at 38%.
Oh boy, they're done counting for the night.
I mean, like, the storyline is Trump won, but
Oh,
everyone knew that, so we really want to know what's number 2, and how long do we go at this before we just say, hey, they're not going to get to number 2 tonight? Because right now, the count is DeSantis basically just 0.1 under 20, and Bird Brain's at 18.68.
We're going to wake up tomorrow morning and Nikki Haley's going to have 60% of the vote.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Can you imagine
Sounds
if they
about
stole
right.
the Iowa caucus?
Oh, man. That would be nuts if they, to do that right off the bat.
And then you know who I'd blame? The Jews.
No, but
That was a joke.
Dawson, on line 24 there, I just put in an article, line 24.
I could only imagine what this
CBS
would be.
News. I'm not pulling up anything crazy here. CBS News.
Fake
this
news.
is a legitimate news website.
Are you going to Alex Jones us here?
You're legitimizing CBS.
I'm
News?
just showing you what they
Apparently.
say.
Jewish American pedophiles hide from justice in Israel. Okay, this is something that I found about years ago.
All right,
and,
let's scroll down here.
And
Let's
it's a
read
story
this
that
article.
continues to grow. There's more and more pedophiles hiding out in Israel.
It's a
Sure.
tense stakeout waiting for Jimmy Julius Caro to appear. He is a wanted man and is considered dangerous. Accused of sexually assaulting a 9-year-old girl in Oregon in 2000. He fled to Israel before authorities in the U.S. could apprehend him or figure out where he went. Caro has been running from the U.S. law enforcement ever since. Well, okay, so let's move up on the page. It says a widespread, no, the other way, sorry. Scroll down, I should say. A widespread problem. CBS News investigations found that many accused American pedophiles flee to Israel, and bringing them to justice can be difficult.
That looked like a video of somebody getting arrested in Israel for being a pedophile.
Is that the actual story? Because I always hate how media does this nowadays. They have this video that plays on the top. It's not the story.
Alley Cat
Well,
says
let's go to the
Jesse's
video
correct.
here. Let's see what we got. Jesse's
yeah,
gonna get. Jesse might win on this one. He might.
Well,
might show
okay.
us.
Wait, I don't know what you mean by win. We weren't saying that this isn't happening.
Oh well, I mean, if it's a widespread problem and it's
Right.
specific
I
to
hear
Israel,
the number.
I think he's got a point.
I hear that it's thousands. It's not like it's just 5 people. It sounds like this is a big problem.
A CBS News investigation has uncovered a loophole that allows
Yes,
accused and
this is the video.
convicted American pedophiles to escape justice by moving to Israel. So Ian Lee has been following this for more than a year, and he traveled to Israel for this investigation. He worked with a group that tracks people accused of sex crimes, which estimates dozens of Americans have used this loophole.
Dozens?
So, he's 6'2".
We are on a stakeout looking for this man, Jimmy Julius Caro, 48 years old and wanted on charges of sexually assaulting a 9-year-old girl in Oregon back in 2000 and a 5-year-old girl in Israel in 2001. He's considered dangerous. But these photos are a few years old, so we don't know if he'll look the same. He remains elusive. Previous attempts to capture him have failed.
Obviously, the fear that he would somehow figure out that anyone's looking for him and bolt. He just called his number.
Shauna Aronson got a tip that Caro's expected at this clinic near Tel Aviv.
Who's going to call the
She's with JCW, Jewish Community Watch, an organization that hunts down accused pedophiles who flee to Israel from the U.S., exploiting a process called Law of Return, whereby any Jewish person can move to Israel and automatically gain citizenship. The ease with which pedophiles seem able to use this law as an escape route haunts victims like Mendy Hawk, who says he was abused from age 8 by a teacher at an Orthodox Jewish school in Los Angeles.
So your classroom is right here. How does it feel being back?
I was very anxious and, stressed coming back here. A lot of memories coming through my mind.
Memories of his alleged abuser, Mordechai Yomtov, who taught him Hebrew studies when he was just 8 years old.
So in the beginning, he would just rub me outside of my pants, and then I would say, 3 to 4 months later, he started going in.
Reaching down your pants?
Yeah, it's reaching down.
Why did you feel like you couldn't tell anyone?
I was scared. I was ashamed. I just didn't know what people would think of me, of the whole situation.
Yomtov pled guilty in 2002 to sexually abusing and committing lewd acts against 3 other boys. He served jail time, but when he was released, he violated his probation and, according to JCW, fled to Israel with help from individuals within the Orthodox Jewish community. JCW tracked Yomtov down and confronted him with a hidden camera in Jerusalem. where he admitted to illegally fleeing the United States with help and using a fake passport to enter Israel.
I was supposed to stay for 5 years in the same city. I was supposed to, let's see, 20 on the side of yourself. I was supposed to go every 2 weeks to the police station. On parole. I left within a week later.
He had this message for his victims.
I'm very, 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 very sorry.
The other person in this video is Mayor Seawald, the founder of Jewish Community Watch. He tells CBS News Yom Tov's case isn't uncommon in the Orthodox community.
The same thing that's going on in the Catholic Church right now around the world, the exact same thing happens in our community. The rabbis say it's, you know what, he promised he's going to go for therapy, he's never going to do it again. Boom, he's in another community. A few years later, he's at the same thing, and we hear more allegations that the person continued to abuse children.
And often, those abusers end up in Israel. Rabbi Yehuda Oppenheimer says he unwittingly helped Caro escape.
There was nothing that raised any red flags up to the point where he was moving to Israel.
Well, I wish I could say that, but unfortunately I can't say that. So he had violated his parole, and now they were looking for him. He said that there was something in the past that had happened when he was young, but nothing had ever happened since. I've changed, and I'm a different person now, but you gotta help me. I felt that I could trust him. So I wrote him a letter.
All right, let's
I bought a ticket.
Yeah, it gets the point across.
Please. What?
It gets the point across.
Get it. All right.
Yeah.
Like
I was not expecting to go that long, honestly. Interesting.
But it's true, you know, and maybe I exaggerate the number a little bit. You know, I'd have to dig into it a little bit more. I haven't thought about it in a long time, but I just all of a sudden remembered that, you know, hey, Israel's hiding out those pedophiles. So somebody's got to say it.
Pull up the Wall Street Journal article. I guess I see what you're saying there. That's interesting.
Did it go down?
It did go down. I saw that. So maybe they had some fake reporting. 37% in. Trump at 53%. Ron DeSantis is at 20%. I can't even say his name.
Yeah.
That's how good Trump is. You got to admit it. Trump is a genius messenger. Like, literally, I can't just say DeSantis. I have to say Sanctus.
Mm-hmm. Yep, DeSanctimonious.
Which is not a word.
Meatball Ron, yeah.
Yeah, started with DeSanctimonious and it just becomes
DeSantis.
DeSantis.
Oh, yeah.
Heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Guantanamo Bay.
Right, yeah. But Meatball Ron kind of stopped after, you know, because Ron, during the, before he announced for governor, he was starting to gain a couple of pounds. And not that Trump is like, you know,
Trump's fun to talk, right?
He's not like, you know, a fitness
He's no spring chicken.
Right, but he knew he could mess with him by calling him Meatball Ron, and Ron actually like lost 10, 15 pounds because of that. He
Fat shaming works.
It worked.
It does.
Not for
There
Chris
you go.
Christie. Not for Chris Christie, but, you know, because, you know,
At some
Trump
point you
said,
just go,
you can call
whatever.
him fat, you can call him a pig, but you can't call him a fat pig. And, you know, I don't know why you're not allowed to. I mean, I think it's perfectly fair, too.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, we're stuck at 37%. As Dawson said, it went down. But we have, what else do we have on our note sheet here to talk about tonight?
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot said, just in, guy gets arrested in Aiken, a Sound of Freedom movie for pouring water on the sidewalk to create ice so people fall and hurt themselves. So random.
What does it say?
I guess Aiken County. But some guy got arrested for pouring water out on the sidewalk outside the movie theater.
I'd bet it'd have to be like a bigger operation than just a water bottle, you know?
Yeah,
because I mean, I don't know. That just sounds interesting because, I don't know if pouring out water is illegal in the cold.
Was that movie theater only showing Sound of Freedom, or?
That's true.
What?
Or maybe it was some event hosting just.
I don't know.
Don't you love how we just read whatever the comments are and pretend like it's all news? We don't know.
I know.
Yeah, it could be fake news.
I mean, that didn't sound like we were taking it as real news.
It probably is. There's probably something going on there. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We might be stuck here. I'll give it another 5 minutes, but if we don't get any positive movement here, the big story tonight is basically who's number 2. And if we're not going to get movement, we might not learn this real quick. I mean, they jumped up pretty quick.
Somebody asked earlier, why is number 2 important?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair point. Listen, Trump is already leading all the states. New Hampshire, he's got a thin margin, relatively speaking. He's crushing in South Carolina. So Haley, with Chris Christie dropping out, actually has a chance of winning New Hampshire, which gives momentum. If Haley can't beat DeSantis, people might abandon her. That's the whole point in the Iowa and New Hampshire, the Iowa caucus, New Hampshire primary, is it's not the plurality. It's not even close to anywhere near a significant amount of delegates, but you get the headlines coming out of it, right? And the headlines then give you momentum going to the other states, and people, and you could speak to this, Mort, they like winners. That's how, I don't know what the brain mechanism is there, but we generally want to gravitate towards winners, and so they're viewed as a winner when they do well. And so in this case, everyone knew Trump was going to win, except for you. I guess you thought Vivek was going to win. I'm just kidding. You did have Vivek in second.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, that's a great case in point. If Vivek literally would have done
2/3 of the votes are still to be counted.
Yeah.
We never know.
The numbers are there. If you and Bridget were right and Vivek took a second place, and what'd you have him at, 25?
Yep.
We get a prize.
Literally, Vivek would have stole all the headlines.
Yep.
But in this case, it really is going to come down to, and it seems like it, will DeSantis beat Nikki Haley? And if that's the case, Nikki Haley, it's like you just deflated her balloon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the war machine and the left. Well, why do the leftists want Nikki Haley anyhow? They want. I always feel like they want Trump, right? Don't they want Trump so that because they think they could beat the guy? Are they that fearful that giving a Trump boost would actually result in him possibly winning? It's hard to understand these guys. I don't know. I could see either one.
Every once in a while, I try to sludge my way through with The View. And, like, what is The View saying? What's Whoopi thinking? Sometimes it's just like, and that's the thing. Basically, what it gives me is like, okay, this is what the elitist liberal hive mind discussion is right now. And, obviously they keep a little bit of it covered, but, they have these very same discussions. They say, well, do we want Nikki? I mean, we kind of want Trump because Trump's easier to beat. So they have these conversations too. It's the liberal elitist Hollywood. They're having these conversations, and who do they prefer? Obviously, they prefer Nikki to Trump because that's who they would rather see as president. They hate Trump.
You want to hear a funny Neil Shaw story?
Really quick, is there a show tomorrow? Because people are asking.
No, we're not going to have a show tomorrow. This is taking place this show tomorrow. Sorry.
Well, I think there's something even bigger going on where you have this legitimate ruling class that sees the disaster of Joe Biden, and everybody knows what political party he associates with. So I think they see that the American people are probably kind of shifting towards voting Republican. And I think that's where you see these people, like Nikki Haley has a ton of Democrat voters. There's a big fundraiser she has going on January 30th where her staff are teasing it's a big Democrat donor, one of the biggest Democrat donors out there. They won't say who, but in some apartment building in New York where I think these legit ruling class folks are putting the energy behind Nikki Haley to kind of capitalize on, Bidenomics and the failures of what the Democrats are doing now.
Oh, yeah, BlackRock.
The pendulum swings back to the right and going, well, we now need a Republican to be our puppet in the White House.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is really happening.
Yeah. I mean, just like George Bush with the Patriot Act. I mean, Nikki Haley, she would do a Patriot Act on steroids. She would do the Internet Patriot Act.
Yeah, that's a good point.
She would take everything all the way to the next level. So she doesn't have any reason to, take on the deep state because she is going to enable the deep state to continue to spy on us. And, for people like Nikki Haley, she's on team government and she's against the citizens. That's what people always need to realize. It's not Democrat, Republican. It's us against the government.
Well stated.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, man. I just wanted some results to come in here.
I see Drew. I bet it's Drew D. William Roach. It looks like he's got some good nicknames there. Bird Brain, Ron the Con. I don't hear that one very often. Ron the Con.
Vivek.
Yeah, and Vivek. I like it.
By the way, I was chatting with Bad Hat Harry on Friday.
It's him.
Funny to find out people's real names.
Mm-hmm.
Like the idea, yeah, I mean, K-Wall is.
I think some people want to remain anonymous
I think
too.
so.
I think some people say I don't want the establishment knowing I love Action for Liberty. So I can't blame people for giving us Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Well, yeah,
do whatever you gotta do.
Actually, I know who Whiskey Tango Foxtrot is.
Yeah, sure.
Do you know?
Maybe I'm not sure.
That's funny. I know who that is. Yeah, you get all these people you don't know who it is, and then you got Brad Ganser.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, well, that one's easy.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny if Brad Ganser really wasn't Brad Ganser on here? Though?
Yeah, it was a fake.
And he had no idea the whole time.
That's the move. You just create someone else's name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My name
should do
isn't
that with,
my name isn't even Dawson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it's been stuck at 37%. That's how it goes. I mean, you get like these volunteers and activists that
Ryan Binkley still beating Asa, so it's a successful night.
We're still waiting for the results from Wiesenberg's endorsing convention.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago. Still haven't finished that.
Yeah,
count.
that's right. Tell people that story.
We've told this story a bunch, but 2 years ago, right? Wiesenberg endorsing convention, Morrison County, I want to say. And obviously Wiesenberg is an outsider. I think we can all recognize that. And they wanted nothing to do with the guy. So it is endorsing convention. They do their speeches. They go hand out the ballots. The ballots get compiled. They've got tellers, and the tellers are supposed to count the ballots. And this was early in the night. It's probably 8 o'clock or something.
Yeah.
And hours go by. And I think about 11 o'clock, the school had a time, like a hard cut, where they just had to kick them out of there. So, like, from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock, they couldn't count these 100 pieces of paper to determine who is going to be the endorsed Senate candidate.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
It's so crazy. And
yeah, the establishment was falsely claiming, like, our ballots were stolen. You know, and I remember I heard from somebody, Action for Liberty. You know, Action for Liberty was destroying that convention. They were rigging that convention. I said, a single vote wasn't even counted. You know, how could Action for Liberty rig a convention where no votes are counted? You know, that's obviously the people who are counting the votes, or the lack thereof, are the ones who are rigging the convention.
So
if you're
their
not gonna
narrative was we rigged it because they looked and they go, Wiesenberg.
Well,
this
the
thing's
thing.
rigged. We can't.
Well, you know, I think they gave up that lie pretty quickly because they realized they couldn't convince people once people had the facts. You know, that was just the initial thing they just sent out there to the establishment. You know, because I had a couple of people who, you know, hey, what's going on there? I said, you're kidding me. Who's saying that?
Yeah.
Oh, Mandy Heffron's saying that.
Yeah.
That tells you everything you need to know.
Well, probably the best part of that night was when Ron Krisha, the state representative, is running unopposed. And the delegates refuse to endorse him. Normally it's like standing acclamation, just get up, everybody just endorse this guy, he's the only candidate.
Yeah.
But they would not endorse the guy.
Well, not only that, they were trying to not allow a guy to run against him.
Yeah.
Calling some rules. So then everyone still votes for the guy, and I think that's one of the things that closed down the voting is they were like, oh, Ron Krisha's not going to get the endorsement to a guy that we don't even allow to run. You can't make this stuff up. Go back to the results there. We got 41 results are starting to roll in. Thank God we stuck with it. We've got Trump at 54, solid 54%. Ron DeSantis under 20 now. Nikki Haley at 7.5. Vivek hovering just under 8%. Ryan Binkley still ahead of Asa Hutchinson. Ada Hutchinson.
Yeah.
But results are coming in here pretty quick now. At least it has been for a while. So we'll stick with the program here. I really appreciate you saying that, Razzle Dazzle, but I don't think we can pull off a show tomorrow. We've got too much on the plate. Appreciate that very much. But right now is about 2 shows a week. You know, the other thing is I appreciate people that do put media out every day, but I don't know. Sometimes
That's how you get fake news.
Yeah. Sometimes there's not enough to talk about. Like, I don't want to just do a show to do a show. 62%. Go back to results here. 62% in. Trump at 50.46. DeSantis at 21.23. Nikki Birdbrain at 19.6. Vivek. Doesn't look like Vivek's going to go over 8%. So we just had a big dump of data. It looks like what's happening is...
Dawson, click the see full results right underneath there. There's that little blue thing right there. Yeah, that just gives you a little bit, you know, it gives you the full picture there. And also you can scroll over on each of those counties there and see how many, see what the percentages are for each individual county on the map there, Dawson. Yeah, so people can feel free to, look through all those and everything. But yeah, and one of the Nikki counties apparently just flipped back to Trump. So now there's only one Nikki county out of all of Iowa, but DeSantis is still in second place here. And I don't know if these delegates have been decided all the way yet.
69% now if you do an
Oh,
update.
yeah. Yep. Big movement
Trump's
here.
going up to 51, DeSantis at 21, Nikki Haley at 19. Vivek's just not moving at all. I don't think Erik Mortensen could have been more incorrect on his call tonight.
No, I think
unfortunately,
I think
he
he's
duped
about
Bridget into following suit.
No, he didn't dupe me.
You guys were optimistic. You guys are optimistic. I don't know if there's that many. There's a lot of rhinos in our party
That's
still.
just what I think. I like Trump.
I'm trying to stick up for you, Bridget. I just feel like more, being an icon, political icon, you're like, well, he couldn't be wrong, so
That's not true at all.
I knew it was bold. I knew it was very bold.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Is this same thing happening for Democrats right now too?
No,
because they change it.
Yeah, the Democrat Iowa caucus, it's so complicated. I mean, the Iowa Democratic Party and the National Democratic Party were trying to come to different negotiations and everything because they have to deal with the Iowa state legislature and then they have to deal with the DNC calendar. And eventually they came to some sort of agreement where Iowa Democrats would not hold their caucus at that time. And instead they're going to hold their caucus way down the line, which actually might end up being a better thing for the Democrats because if Joe Biden has a heart attack, if Joe Biden has dementia, if Joe Biden's going to be suffering in further months, it's going to be more apparent then. And then maybe a Dean Phillips or a Marianne Williamson or even a Cenk Uygur who wasn't even born in our country has a chance to beat him. So that's the thing. Like, how bad is it that the number 3 competitor to Joe Biden is a guy who wasn't even born in our country? The guy's not even constitutionally qualified for president. But, and I don't know if any of you guys have watched it. News Nation just did a Democratic primary debate.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was
Dean Phillips in it?
Yeah, Dean Phillips, Marianne Williamson, Cenk Uygur.
Hilarious.
And Dan Abrams. You guys know Dan Abrams. He does like A&E. He does all kinds of like, crime shows and stuff like that.
72%, by the way. Trump's at 51.
Oh, nice.
DeSantis 21, and Nikki Birdbrain at 18.9.
Yeah, honestly, it's not that interesting. It's one of those things that it's more interesting that there was a Democratic Party debate than it was that like it actually happened. The only thing that was interesting was all 3 of them saying Joe Biden is going to lose to Trump. All 3 of them said that, even Dean Phillips. So I think all of them are seeing the writing on the wall that unless they change out the nominee, they are going to lose.
Was it a contest of who's the most woke?
It was a little bit that, it was a little bit that, but
by the way,
Cenk Uygur won that one then. If that was the game.
I look at the comment section. Great point. Please like this on Rumble right now. Like it. It pushes out to more people. They get the cold hard facts here, the truth, and some good editorialism by young Jesse, MAGA Jesse. So make sure you like this on Rumble. Or any platform you're watching it on, but
like this
Rumble.
video to catch Israeli pedophiles, right?
I thought you were off basis, and I got to admit.
No, I know that's the thing. I would only say that because I was so shocked when I saw the mainstream media reporting it. I was like, okay, if CBS is reporting this, then I know it's I know that they wouldn't cover something like this if it was a lie.
That's the funny thing about Alex Jones is people are like, that's a crazy thing he said, and it's like, here's the actual mainstream media doing it. Like the funny pun on him was always, it's turning the frogs gay, and it's like, actually that's a true story. They were, what was it, some chemical they were testing in frogs, and it was turning them basically changing their gender.
Yeah, gay and transgender.
Yeah, like literally. I guess that is possible with some chemical.
Mm-hmm.
Not in humans. We're stuck at 72% here. It just looks like Jesse and I are going to be right on the money here. Trump will be over 50%, DeSantis will be over 20%, and Nikki comes in third. And I got to admit,
I think I got the listing completely accurate. I said Trump, DeSantis, Nikki, Vivek, Ryan Binkley, and then Asa Hutchinson.
Well, okay.
I feel good. Right. I feel like I got this thing.
I had the same as you, but I didn't bother to go with
you didn't
Ryan
say
Binkley and Ada Hutchinson. So
yeah,
good job on the fourth tier candidates.
That's
there.
right.
Jeez. Actually, I guess third tier, because you have one tier, which is Trump, and then you got the second tier. Yeah, they're probably just getting big dumps of data in here, so we're probably going to learn real quick. Although we probably already figured out. So how did Dean do in that debate? Like, you actually watched it?
Yeah, I watched it. And there was another debate just even a few days before that where it was just between him and Marianne Williamson. And it was an interesting debate. I mean, I didn't buy any of the arguments Cenk Uygur was saying that I'm allowed to be president. I was, it was one of those things that once you hear it, he was basically saying that after slavery, that means that all of these rights are afforded to everybody, including people of a different national origin. So he was out there claiming that, you don't need to be a born citizen of this country to run for president. That's never been supported for a general election ballot in the history of our country.
I don't understand his argument here. After slavery, what was the...
He's saying after slavery, after the 14th Amendment, when all rights are supposed to be afforded to all people within the United States, that you cannot withhold the right to be able to run for public office. That's his argument, and he's won in a couple of states. He's going to be listed on Minnesota's presidential ballots in the Democratic primary because of Ken Martin. And so Ken Martin is putting him on the ballot. Why is Ken Martin putting him on the ballot? My theory, this is just an idea. I don't know, but this is just an idea. This is what I would guess. Why is he putting Cenk Uygur on the ballot? Because then he can make the argument when they're going to try to remove Trump from the ballot in the general election at the Minnesota Supreme Court. What is he going to argue? Well, we put a constitutionally unqualified person on our Democratic primary ballot. So what does that mean? What is Ken Martin going to say? Unconstitutionally people who are not constitutionally qualified can be on the primary ballot, but not the general. That's what Ken Martin's going to do. They're going to try to take Trump off the ballot. He's using Cenk Uygur as a pawn to be able to get that done, in my mind. I mean, why else would he put someone who cannot become the president on the primary ballot? It doesn't make sense.
I kind of want to keep the show going just to see how far down the all the conspiracy angles we go with Jesse.
I'm just kind of speechless here.
Jesse,
keep going. Where else are we going?
Jesse, tell me about 9/11.
Oh man. I'm nervous to get into that one. I'll start.
Oh,
saying
we're waiting.
too much.
We're hovering at 73%. We need to. I don't know. We need to be in the 90s before we know how the night's going to end. I mean, Bird Brain could still surge.
Yeah.
She's within 2 points of DeSantis.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about 9/11?
Yeah. Inside
By the way, if you
job.
go back to that map, she's actually
obviously
got a couple
inside
counties.
job. I mean, it's one of those things where, where'd the plane go in the Pentagon? Where'd the plane go? Oh, there's no plane, even though a plane hit it, right? Okay. I don't know. And, same thing. There's too much to get into, the BBC reporting Twin Towers have fallen. What's in the background? The Twin Towers. So, it shows me some of it was predetermined. It all happened. It's all real. People died. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't predetermined by benevolent actors in our dictator government.
Yeah.
I stand by it.
Okay. What about chemtrails?
Oh, man. I don't know enough, but, you look in the sky, you say, I don't think I like that.
Serious question. I'm sure at some point you interface with Q. By the way, 74% in Trump, 51.5%. DeSantis right under 21%. And Nikki Haley's now under 19%. And Vivek has not moved at all.
Mm-hmm.
I assume at some point you interfaced with Q. Did you ever buy into those theories?
No,
Ever?
not myself.
Yeah.
No, it was one of those things I was always interested in. I always thought, that's cool. I like that there's this cool online conspiracy, but every once in a while you go on, you look through it, and you go, oh, that's interesting. I haven't thought about that in a while, but I don't take Q as my truth. I don't take that as where I'm getting my directions from, because if that's where I'm getting my directions from, the directions are way too confusing. It doesn't make any sense. It's too convoluted, and I'd rather just have true information and not secret messages coded.
Brad says he's never heard Jesse's opinion on Epstein Island.
All right, I say we do this. We'll go to that, and then we'll wrap things up. I think more. I don't know if he just took off or if he's.
Oh, I don't know.
I feel like.
Leak.
What's that?
Probably taking a leak.
I was gonna say trying to get something to eat. So your thoughts on Epstein? Was it?
I think
Epstein's
Epstein's innocent. No, I mean, obviously it's a pedophile island. I don't know.
God, that's
I don't know
hilarious
everybody
way to
who.
go.
I don't know everybody who's been on there, but I mean, every single one of them needs to be taken down. And yeah, I mean, obviously, what do I think it was? Who was he really controlled by? I don't know. I think it was probably. I don't know. I don't even want to speculate. I got a couple of ideas, but I don't want to speculate right now.
Well, we want you to speculate. We're up to 77%
I'm not doing it. I'm
reporting.
not doing it right now.
77% reporting. Hold on one second, Jesse. 50.
Oh, yeah.
Trump's at 51%. DeSantis. So it seems to be pretty consistent. DeSantis is 2 points over Bird Brain. There's 2 counties that haven't reported, it looks like. Otherwise, Trump is running the gamut here across the whole state of Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, look how neat those counties are.
Yeah.
Square counties.
No
Isn't
kidding.
that great?
They have a perfect system
Wow.
for dividing their county lines.
Yeah.
99 county. Maybe they could throw 100 in there. If they
You
wanna
would want
split up.
100, yeah, just to make it a
I don't know
solid
why
100.
99, but I do like the way that they do it because that's just the cleanest way of doing it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so where did I leave off here?
Epstein.
Yeah, Epstein. What about the Trump speculation? 78% coming in. It seems like it's going to hold steady at these numbers, by the way. But
yeah.
Anyhow, the Trump allegation. Did you give that any time of the day? Like the girl who said she saw Trump, or a friend of hers, or whatever acquaintance.
Yeah, I don't think it makes any sense. I looked into it a little bit. It's been a tiny bit since I was reading through everything on that, but based on what I was seeing, it seemed like someone who was trying to make a little bit of money by name dropping Trump, and that's the biggest way to get rich. You want to accuse Trump of something, and the mainstream media will prop you up, and now we got the corrupt courts who will rule in your favor. So that's just part of the thing. I know the E. Jean Carroll case. Apparently, there's another one coming up, and
yeah, the defamation case.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And
that's the lady that
George
accused
Conway. The guy who used to be married to Kellyanne Conway.
Oh, they got divorced?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep, and
I can't believe they hung.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know either. That whole thing. It was almost one of those things. I don't know if I trust them. It's one of those things where you look at them and you just go, are they just both trying to play these different opposite sides so they get all the information so that they're really the power players? I don't know. But then they got divorced, so maybe that's not the case. Maybe they're just two different people who ended up getting, going different ways in politics. But it is very weird to have your husband saying Trump's a dictator and your wife's working in the administration. So I don't know all of the details there, but apparently George Conway.
Just think about that. Trump's a dictator and your wife is helping out his.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Crazy.
It doesn't make any sense. But he was on CNN and said, I'm going to be in the deposition files. What the hell does George Conway got to do with, E. Jean Carroll, that crazy nutbag, I don't know. It just shows me that, this is an establishment con job just as we expected. And there's so many things that are going to be permitted into evidence that don't belong there. But we're at where we're at. And I think the only way that we can move forward is just continue to expose the fraud. And I think a lot of people are seeing through it.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I think we're going to end it here at 78%. Looks like Trump is going to be, it was assumed he stays over 50%, and DeSantis is going to come in second. So, no one really shocked the world here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the polling was somewhat accurate. I guess the big story, in my opinion, is Nikki Haley couldn't beat DeSantis. She had the whatchamacallit, the network, the Koch network, right?
Mm-hmm.
Americans for Prosperity endorsing her, and that didn't boost her over DeSantis' numbers. And all the work by DeSantis going into this, and he can't even break 25%.
Yeah.
So he's not even half of what Donald Trump is. And then Vivek, there's no path forward for Vivek.
Oh.
What's that?
Just changed.
Yeah, it's 79%.
Where did the Nikki Haley things go?
Oh, yeah. You're saying she lost it?
Looks like it to me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was Webster County. That was one of them.
But once again, it's like, yeah, we don't know if it's
another one, too. But, yeah. Crazy.
Dang.
Trump sweep, baby. Trump sweep.
You know what?
Get on the train or get run over.
That's
what I say. It's over. Time for them to drop out. It's Trump 2024. It's over.
Well, when you think about Trump, you would think he just wants to basically get everything. 65% in Ringgold County, which is on the southern border. 77% in Lyon County, which is just south of Minnesota. Worth County, 66% in. Mitchell County, 41% in. These are areas where Trump is doing really well. So my opinion is Trump is probably just going to continue climbing or staying relatively flat. Because when you kind of look around and you look at, I mean, really, we have no results from Franklin County and no results from Jefferson County. Those are the two white spots on the map. Other than that, it seems like a lot of the Mort just texted me, says, I got to run. Well, you forgot your hat.
Got it.
Oh, yeah.
Your hat is
in here. We're wrapping things up.
The president of Action for Liberty.
I know. Yeah. Well, Mort's a morning person.
Oh, that's crazy.
I do feel guilty, but you're the one that said, no, we got to wait till the results come in, Mort. I was just doing what you were saying you wanted in the results. And then I'm like watching him, and he's like starting to get tired.
I'm exhausted over here.
I know. Well, okay. But Donald Trump isn't.
4 a.m.
I get it.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, and we get busy this time of year with work stuff, so I got a bunch of work things brewing.
Yeah, by the way, part-time president. He actually has a full-time job, so forgot to mention that.
Yep.
Well, full-time effort. He still has another job, another day job, just like as a legislator. In fact, I think you'll get more done here than you did at the Capitol because, the game is just rigged.
It's not
the game
tough
is rigged over
to get
there.
more things done outside of a Capitol.
All right, 79%. Trump wins 51%. By the way, I don't know why I'm ignoring the fact you're an early morning riser too, Bridget. So,
not as early, but these days I have to be early.
There you go.
Mort's looking at me because I always came in like 10, 15
early
minutes
riser.
later.
Late every day.
Was she really?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He didn't fire
One
you.
day.
However, no. Yeah, kind of.
The day we
But
made a bet.
Yeah, but you said you can be in at this time, but I like if you came in earlier, but you never said I had to be in.
Yeah, I really didn't care. It was just the day that we
So there
made
was
a
a
bet.
slight.
Then I tried to lock her out, but
People don't know
Yeah.
that. Do people know Bridget was your legislative
I
assistant?
have no idea.
I don't know.
Yeah. There you go. She's always down for.
But I rise earlier now, so.
You worked for the one legislator that didn't make you wear a mask.
Oh, I know.
Or you don't have to get a vaccine either.
We're the only two that never wear a mask.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to end it right there. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Special episode. We won't be back tomorrow, Tuesday. K-Wall, thank you. Good to see you. Glad the Wild won, it looks like. So we'll
And
be
Glenn
back.
was here, too. I just wanted to say that.
Who's that?
Glenn was here in the very beginning.
I did see Glenn was up there. Yes, hi, Glenn. So we'll be back on Thursday at 1 o'clock with the next episode. Take care and God bless.